We're gonna start with a funny video. Let me show you real quick what we're gonna be watching. So what I want you to do with this video is pretty much watch it. We're gonna learn some phrases, and it's also funny, so enjoy. It's called, let's see, Angelo, can you help me read the name of the video? It's down here.
Okay. Grandma gives relationship advice to a 2-year-old.
Perfect. Relationship, say with me, relationship.
Relationship.
Excellent, relationship. Yeah, guys, so it's kind of interesting, this word advice. What is the plural of advice? Do you guys know? How do we make this plural?
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
irregular.
You think it's
Yeah.
what?
Like irregular. It doesn't have a plural.
Right, so if I want to say, oh, my mom, my sister, and my brother gave me advice, I received, and maybe I want to say three advices would be incorrect, right? What would be the correct way if I do want to number them? Does anybody know? Say, it's very simple. We say pieces. So pieces of advice. I think it's the same with the word news. You know, news is something you cannot pluralize. So if you want to pluralize it, we say pieces of news, right? But yeah, advice cannot be plural. It's only singular or irregular. And if you want to make it plural, you have to use a little word before, like pieces. That makes sense? Okay. The only time that you can say advices is like when we use it as a verb, advises. So like she advises to go to the doctor. So, but here advices is a verb, okay? It's not a noun. And this S is pronounced like a Z to make sure that it's a verb. Advises, right? This one, it's a noun and it's pronounced like an S. Advice, no vibration. All right, is that clear? And a 2-year-old.
Yes.
So grandma gives relationship advice to a 2-year-old. What do you think about the video? Do you think it's gonna be funny?
Yeah, I probably will.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, I like the little girl because she speaks like a brat. Do you know the meaning of a brat? Wasn't that like the
It
Barbie?
sounds like a person who likes to presumir a lot. I don't know how to say presumir.
Presumir? There's two ways. You can say show off or brag. To brag. Yes, exactly. Remember the dictionary that I show you before, right? That dictionary, Urban Dictionary. If you guys put like brat, you know, it says some of them are inappropriate, so we're not gonna read all of them. But let me see if I can find here. Usually a child with an obnoxious attitude and says no to anything asked. You know, throws a lot of fits. I don't know. It's somebody that is a little bit spoiled. Okay, spoiled. Do you know the meaning of spoiled?
Yes,
Yes,
consentido.
exactly. Now, she's a 2-year-old, so I think it's cute. All right, so let's watch. Let's see. I need.
Oh, hey, how'd you get there?
It's FaceTime, Grandma.
How do I give you a kiss?
Grandma, I need some advice.
Do you need help saving for your 401k?
Angeles, please. I need a good boy to love me. What do I do?
Ooh, is he cute?
He's like, has got goals.
Goals? Is he a soccer player?
I can't even.
So what's his name?
Justin Bieber.
Kristen Steeper?
No. Do you need to get your ears checked?
I was at a heavy metal concert last night. Rager.
Anyway, Grandma, what should I do?
You can take a nice warm bath.
If I will get wrinkly like you, ew.
You could write him a love letter.
A letter, what's that? I'm not George Washington.
I once dated George. Great lover.
Hashtag gross.
Take him to the disco.
Oh, you're so extra.
Why don't you take him to bingo and chill?
Like, what? Bingo and chill?
It's what the cool kids are saying.
Help me.
Get him one of those fidget spinners.
Why not?
I'm riding spinners, they don't stop.
Oh, fine. Just slide into his DMs.
What should I say?
Hey, baby, you better call Life Alert because I've fallen for you and I can't get up.
If this doesn't work, I'm checking into a nursing home. I'm out, Granny. I gotta go work.
See ya, girl. How do I turn this off?
Oh, Grandma. Mike Jones. Hope.
All right, guys, so that was the video. There's a lot more videos of this grandma. I don't know if you've seen her. She's also very famous. But yeah, so let's go over a little bit of the video. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so we're gonna start with this question, right? Did you notice this question at the beginning of the video? What was who made this question? Was it the girl or
The grandma.
The grandma.
grandma, right? Why is it funny? What did she mean by this?
She
How'd you
was asking the little girl how she get in her like iPad or like her device.
Right, because obviously they're making fun of grandmas and grandparents when they don't understand technology, right? So, but it's dumb, right? Now, the way that grandma asked the question is not how did you get there? Do you remember what she says when we mix this to the auxiliary and you together? We pronounce it.
How
How-
did you get?
That's one way, yeah, but let's listen to grandma real quick here. Because she doesn't really say, how did you?
Oh, hey, how'd you get there?
It's
So what did she say?
How'd you get there?
How Jew, right? Like Jew. It's like I don't know, similar to this sound, but this Y is a little bit more like a French sound, like J. How'd you get there? How'd you get there? Can you guys help me do it? Can you pronounce it with me? How'd you get there?
How'd you get there?
How'd you get there,
How'd
right?
you get
This happens with all the different questions that you have with did you? Like, for example, okay, we have one. Can you guys think of another question with did you?
Why did you do it?
Why did you do it? It could be even like without WH. Okay, now this is something that Americans do a lot. Sorry guys, it's because I was making some tea and I almost burned it. So, but it's okay. So here, Americans do this a lot. They mixed the two and they contracted and they just make a very, very strong D. So it's like D, it's a Y, and it's like an U. Sometimes it could also be a schwa. So this would be pronounced what you do, like what did you do, right? But they're saying what you do. Oh, it wasn't me, I don't know, right? So somebody's gonna say something like that. What you do? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do what, I just saw you doing, for example, right? Maybe you're asking the person to give you an explanation, right? So why'd you do it? Oh, I did it because blah, blah, blah. Not everybody does that contraction, right? It's really your preference, but a lot of them do it when they're speaking fast, right? Because you could also say, why did you do it, right? Why did you do it, right? This is different. Here, for example, did you go there already? Oh no, I haven't gone. I have to go later, right? So did you go there already? And it's not did you, but you. Did you go there already? Did you call me? No, I didn't call you. It was probably butt dial. You guys know what butt dial is or pocket dial?
Like when you have your phone in your pocket and for accident it calls somebody.
Right. So you're calling, I don't know, your ex-boyfriend. I'm just kidding. Or ex-girlfriend, your grandma, whatever. And you're having a conversation with somebody else and they can hear everything. Well, sometimes they can't hear, but it's like an accidental call, right? So did you call me? Oh no, I'm sorry, butt dial, right? Like it was my butt who did it, or my pocket, or I touched it, or whatever. So that's how we say it. So let's pronounce it together, guys. We're gonna start with this one here. How'd you get there? You guys say with me. How'd you get there?
How to
How
get
How
there?
to get there?
How to get there?
Excellent, good job. Then what you do?
what you do?
What to do?
What you do?
Not like what you do, is more like what you do. 3 sounds. What you do. What you do.
What should do?
What to do?
do? What should do?
Not like should, but do. What you do. What you do. All right. So practice that sound. Ja, je, ji, jo. What you do. All right.
What you do?
Why'd you do it?
Why to do
Why
it?
do you do it?
Why'd you do it? Did you go there already?
You go
To
there
go
already?
there already?
Okay. Did you go there already? Shoot, right? Did you call me? Did you call me?
To call me?
Call me?
Okay. Notice that in all of this, guys, the other verb, not the auxiliary, did, but the other verb is the one that has the stress or the emphasis. So to go there, to call me, what you do, right? So we emphasize the verb that, it's the main verb, and we don't emphasize the did, and that's why we make that contraction, okay? So that's one little tip for you guys to improve your fluency and being more natural when you speak. I already explained the advice one. So this one was for the advice, but remember, we could also say some if we want to talk about, maybe an hour of advice or whatever, right? So I need some advice. I need advice. I'm going to give you some pieces of advice, right? So you could use those 3, but never advices. What's another word for grandma, guys, in English? Like in Spanish, we say tita,
Granny. Oh,
Granny.
Nanny?
nanny, granny. Nanny could also become, confused with a nanny, like a babysitter. So sometimes we say granny. What's the one that they use? Nana, so that it's not confused with nanny. No? So nana, granny, all those are possible. Okay, next one. English, please. So here, just pay attention to the 2 I's in here, like, excuse me, 2 E's in here. This one is English, so it's like serious. Okay, so don't say E. English, no, it's English. Can you guys say it with me? English.
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 And then
English.
this two, English. Good job. Perfect. These two, if you have two vowels, it sounds like an E. So this one is a smiley eye. You have to smile, especially because you're saying please, right? So you have to smile. And then the S is vibrated. So we say please, right? Please. Can you say it like that? Please.
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 We're kind of exaggerating it right now, right? It sounds like you're begging, please, right? But sometimes say, oh, English, please, right? Please. There's that little vibration there. Sometimes when we write text messages, we do this instead, or, to make it like shorter. So it's because that's the pronunciation. So English, please. What does she mean by this, the little girl, when she says, English, please? What is she talking about?
I think her grandma said
Mhm.
like a big number and she didn't understand, so she said that.
Right, 401k. Does anybody know what that is? We're too young for that, and we're not in the US. but-
It's when they are talking about 1,000.
Yes, and it's a type of, so 401k, it's 401,000, but it's also, I guess it's a program in the US for retirement. Do you know retirement? The meaning of retirement? It's like
Yes.
pension almost, but pension doesn't mean the same in English, okay?
Not
We say-
retire off or something like that.
So she's like, I need some advice, grandma. And she's like, do you need some help with your 401k? Which is kind of stupid, right? Because is a 2-year-old. So she's not gonna retire anytime soon, right? So, but anyway, that was the joke. And the little girl says, English, please, right? Like, I don't understand. So it's a little bit sarcastic to say that, but sometimes we use that with our friends. It's like, okay, I'm not understanding what you're saying. So English, please, right? Translate it for me. Okay, have you seen this hashtag on social media? Hashtag goals or life goals? What kind of images or pictures do you see when people use that hashtag? Does anybody know?
Usually it's when someone is making true their dreams.
Yes, especially people that what is it? They are traveling a lot, or they're getting engaged, or what you're supposed to do in life, right? Or so hashtag goals or life goals. I thought I was gonna get a lot of pictures, but I couldn't find any. But yeah, it's usually when, especially couples, when they're like together, traveling, whatever. You can use it for anything, of course, but I don't know why a big majority of those hashtags lead you to pictures like that, but so the little girl says hashtag goals, which is something very common for teenagers, and in this case, a 2-year-old, to use. Like, people now talk with hashtags. I don't know if you've noticed on videos. I think it's a little silly. I do it sometimes, but I don't really like talking like that, right? Like hashtag goals, but it's to be a little funny, right? It has a little bit of humor. But goals, what's the meaning of goals?
Like an achievement?
And what's the relationship with soccer? Because grandma says, is he a soccer player? Which is, again, American humor can be a little stupid, right? But it's like, what's the meaning of goals in soccer?
When someone,
When they
yeah, like
yeah.
meeting, I'm sorry, they
What did you
they
say?
make with it's like it's like the purpose of the game.
Exactly. In Spanish, we say goles, right? Or gol. Do you guys think this is coincidence? This is the word goal, okay? But I guess we don't pronounce it correctly. I don't know. But now it's a Spanish word, right? I think. But yeah, goal, like, it's the same thing. It's un gol. It's an accomplishment as well. It's an objective, something you want to reach. But in soccer would be, el gol, right? All right, cool. So let's move to the next one. What about this expression? if you say, oh my God, no, I can't even. Sounds a little brat as well, right? Like you're a little bit spoiled. But what do you think it means?
I can tolerate you. Like I can even stand you.
Right, exactly. So I can't with you. Like I can't see your face. I just can't tolerate you anymore. I can't stand you, right? But do you think it's true, or is the person saying the opposite? It's a little bit of sarcasm, right? Because it's like being nice to the person. It's like, oh my God, I can't even with you. Sometimes it could be direct, it could be true, like depending on the tone of voice that you use, okay? But in this case, I mean, she was being kind of funny, right? Like, I can't even, like, you're just making me laugh a lot, or it's maybe your jokes are not that good. So I kind of want to cry a little bit, you know, but at the same time, I like it, right? So I can't even, like, no lo soporto, right? Okay, next, this one, it's another sarcastic question. Don't tell this to people, it's kind of rude, but sometimes people say it, right? It's like, if you're not paying attention and you want me to repeat, or you don't understand what I'm saying, it's like, oh my God, do you need to get your ears checked, right? Checked. So here we pronounce it checked with a T. Okay. Ears, this is a little bit of vibration here. Okay. And sometimes we also make that contraction. You need to get your ears checked instead of do you. So sometimes, you know, the context will tell us if do is present or past, right? Depending on the verb that we are using. But okay, so a little bit of sarcasm there. Now the grandma says rager. What is rager? Does anybody know? Well, these words are very easy to find here because this is usually written by teenagers, I guess, or gamers. I don't know. But let's see. I want to hear from Isabella. Can you help me read the meaning of rager here?
Okay, a larger gathering, usually of high school or college students, where massive amounts of alcohol are consumed.
Okay, so rager is another word for a party, a huge party. And it's usually a party that's gonna end up not so well. Okay, so be careful. But yeah, some of these it says here, for instance, notorious in college, but high school can have major ones as well. It's not just a party, but a massive party that usually consists of crazy shit happening. Keggers are a must. The party's so full that you can barely move around. Yo, man, there is a rager pool party happening tonight at TA's, right? So it's like kind of fun, right? Keggers, you know what keggers are? A keg? What is a keg? This is very common in the US, not very common here in Costa Rica. But a keg is this. So kegger is a party where they have these, okay? So it's like, this is probably the most common thing in college that I can remember. I went to college 1 year in the US, so that's why I remember the crazy parties.
It's like a frat party.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's like a frat party, senior party. Okay. All right, we're gonna do another activity. Oh no, we still have a few more stuff here. So let's see. Ew, what is the meaning of ew? We know what that means, right?
Something that is disgusting, teacher.
Something that is disgusting. Have you heard about Tracy McMillan? Do you know who she is?
No, never.
This is
No,
Tracy
teacher.
McMillan. She is a famous author. I think she talks about romance, love, and stuff like that. So now she's giving a TED Talk. This is a very old one, but it's one of my favorites because, I don't know, I think it has a really good message. So let's listen to it. Pay attention to the words, the way she talks. If you have questions, write them down. maybe a word that you didn't understand, or she didn't mispronounce it, but a word that she pronounced too quickly, or a phrasal verb or something, write it down. The point of this is for you to practice, okay? So let's get started. Let's see.
So when I was growing up, there was this song we used to sing on the playground, and it went like this. Tracy and so sitting in a tree, Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby in a baby carriage. And I'm like, okay, that's it. That's how you do life. That's how you do a relationship. Love, marriage, baby carriage. Okay, got it. And then I grew up, and this is what my life turned out to be. Slightly more complicated, right? Love, marriage, divorce, dry spells. Love, marriage, co-parenting, another marriage, another divorce. You get the picture. So if you're good at math and or a fast reader, what you got there is that I've been married 3 times. Yep, 3. And divorced. And what that's supposed to mean is that I am a total failure at relationships. And that is one way to look at it, but not the only way. Because what I think really happened is that I kept marrying the wrong person. Now, it's not that I didn't, it's not that I chose bad guys. My first 2 husbands were amazing men who are now married to wonderful women who aren't me. And my 3rd husband, well, we're friends on Facebook now. So all's well that ends well, right? After the collapse of my 3rd marriage in 2005, I realized that I had been marrying everyone in sight except the one person that I really needed to marry in order to have a great relationship. And that once I married that person, all of my relationships would be successes, even the failures. The so-called failures, actually. So since we're talking today about women inventing, I want to talk about inventing relationship. And what I have found through a lot of trial and obviously many, many, many errors, to be the thing that has transformed my life in love. And that is this idea of marrying yourself. So what does it mean to marry yourself? It's a big idea. It's as big as marriage itself, except if I could just summarize it, it would be that you enter into a relationship with yourself and then you put a ring on it. In other words, you commit to yourself fully. And then you build a relationship with yourself to the point where you realize that you're whole right now. That there's no man, woman, job, circumstance that can happen to you that's going to make you more whole, because you already are. And this changes your life. So by now, I'm sure at least some of you are wondering why you should be listening to a 3-time divorcee talk about marriage, even to herself. And I understand that. And here's what I have to say about that. Is that what I've learned, and my experience is that the places where you have the biggest challenges in your life become the places where you have the most to give, if you do your inner work. I kind of want to say that again. The places where you have your biggest challenges are the places where you have the most to give. So let me tell you a little bit about the person I truly needed to marry, myself. I'm from Minneapolis. Woo! My mom was a prostitute and an alcoholic. She put me in foster care when I was 3 months old. My dad was a criminal. He was a drug dealer and a pimp with a heart of gold. Actually, they both had hearts of gold. And he spent more or less my whole life in prison. And he just got out of prison after his most recent sentence, which was 20 years. And I spent, until the age of 9, I was in probably 24 foster homes. And the thing you need to know about this story, because there's like a lot of details, obviously, but the thing you need to know is that I came out of that childhood with one goal: to never be left. And the way I was going to do that is that I was going to get married. That was the way I was going to accomplish that goal. So I got married the first time to a guy I met when I was 17. We got married a couple years later. When I was 19, he was a really good guy from a great family. He had an MBA. I mean, it was like, you know, it was like marriage material. And, you know, I was thrilled. I was like, I have a family, I belong somewhere, this is wonderful. And then after 5 years, I left him. And then 10 years later, I got married again to another wonderful guy who's the father of my now 16-year-old son. We still have a wonderful relationship. He's a really good guy. But after 4 years, I left him too. And I'm not proud to say that I did that, but in order to really marry yourself, you have to get sometimes very painfully honest with yourself about what it is that you've done. So I'm not proud of that. And then 8 years later, I got married again when I was 40. And I was like, okay, this feels right. Okay? Let me tell you what felt right to a girl who was in 24 foster homes. A guy who started to date after 9 months of marriage. Essentially, he started dating a 21-year-old girl, which you're like, okay. I mean, it would be funny if it weren't so tragic. You have to have a sense of, that's why, you know, we're Facebook friends. So here I am looking at this person that I just described with the terrible track record of relationships, and I'm like, I'm supposed to marry her? Like, this is the woman you want me to marry? And the answer is yes. Because here's the deal. The thing about marrying yourself is that it's not just like cohabitating. You're not just going to date for a while and see how it turns out. You are going to do this till death do you part. You're going to take vows. So here are the vows. Number one, you're going to marry yourself for richer or for poorer. This means you're going to love yourself right where you are. You don't say to yourself, when you get to the corner of Hollywood and Vine, then I'll marry you. You don't say, when you lose 10 pounds, then I'll love you. And you don't say, if you hadn't married that loser, I would love you, but since you did, I'm sorry, I think it's over. When you marry yourself, you walk yourself down that aisle exactly where you are. And paradoxically, I've found that loving myself exactly where I am is the only way to get where I'm going. Number two, you're going to marry yourself for better or for worse. So what this means, it's like most of us are willing to love ourselves for better. I mean, sure, like, I'm having a great hair day today. I love me. You know, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about for worse, you know, like the big life disappointments. Maybe you don't own a home, you didn't get the career you wanted, maybe you didn't graduate from college, maybe you didn't get the relationship you wanted. Maybe it hasn't turned out, maybe you fight with your mom, maybe you watch too much reality TV. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter anymore, right? Because when you marry yourself, you agree to stay with you no matter what. So third, you marry yourself in sickness and in health. So what this means is that you forgive yourself for your mistakes. A mistake isn't actually a failure unless you don't learn from it and unless you don't grow. There's a saying, you ask for patience and what you get is a line at the bank. And what that means is that life does not give you what you asked for. It gives you the people, places, and situations that allow you to develop what you asked for. And you know, the thing is that if you don't get it right the first time, life will give it to you again. Because life is very generous that way. It's like, I didn't get it the first time in the first marriage, and I didn't get it the second time. You know, it's like, okay, maybe the third time I'll get it. So inside that terrible experience of that third marriage, I learned something about in sickness and in health. And what I learned is how to sit by my own bedside and how to hold my own hand and how to nurse myself and how to comfort myself. And what I learned is that I am a person that I can count on. Last but not least, you marry yourself. When you marry yourself, it's to have and to hold yourself. So what does it mean to have and to hold? Well, I think it means that you love yourself the way you want someone else to love you. I had always been going through life like with this sense of lack. I felt like I was kind of half a person and that I was missing something. And I went into my relationships hoping to solve this feeling that I'd had my entire life, that I wasn't whole unless someone loved me. And the truth is that I wasn't ever going to feel whole until I learned to love myself. So this business of marrying yourself transforms every area of your life, your business, family relationships, kids, social relationships, friends. Because when you marry yourself, this huge thing happens. You become able to love in this whole new way. You become able to love other people right where they are for who they are, the same way you're already loving yourself. And of course, this is what the world needs more of. So when I married myself and I realized that I already had everything I needed, I started seeing it as my job to basically just light up my little corner of the world. You know, that's my new job. Because I don't need anything, I already have it. So when I take meetings, it's all about like, how can I help this person achieve her goal? And when I'm in my social communities, it's like, what can I bring to this that only I can bring? And when I go on dates, it's like, how can I just discover another person, maybe for just 1 hour? Which of course brings me full circle. Because people always ask me about my love life, you know? They want to know. And, you know, the answer is I'm still working on it, aren't we all, you know? So this is where I am right now. About 3 months ago, I went on a first date. And about 30 minutes into the date, I found myself paying attention not to whether he liked me, but how I felt in his presence. I noticed that I was like light and happy and joking. And as I reflected on the date afterward, I was like, wow, I got really excited. I'm like, look, this is how committed I am to myself. I'm not even on this date trying to like get someone to like me. You know, I'm more interested in how I feel about me than how he feels about me. Not because I'm selfish, but because the only relationship I'm ever going to have with another person is the one that I'm already having with myself. I'm just going to have it with them now. So it turned out he liked me, you know, and we're still together, and it's cool and amazing, you know, but like I've been married 3 times, so slow down. You know? The thing is, I'm not trying to get security from him through marriage, and God forbid, a baby carriage. I'm only here to just be in relationship. I'm not dying to hear the words, will you marry me? Because even though those words are very powerful, and very powerful to a person like me, I don't need to hear them from him because I've already heard them from myself. And the way I see it, it's like I took myself to the top of a mountain, or maybe to the bottom of the ocean, and I got down on one knee, and I said, I'll never leave you. And now I'm married to the one person I really wanted to be with all along, myself. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys think? I want to hear your first reactions. You think? I wrote some words here. Go ahead.
At first I was confused because she was talking about there was someone I needed to marry for my other marriages to work out, and I'm like, what? Because I didn't understand at first what she meant, but it's very cute, like that way to see it, like it's an eye-opening for me. Because like thank God I haven't had a love love life. I haven't
Yeah.
started my love life. So hearing this, like from someone who has had quite a failures, it's like relieving, like, okay, I know what to expect. I know what to do in the cases. So it's, but her point of view in love life, it's very cute. I really like it. And she's right about what she says.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes. Anybody wants to respond to what Sammy said or contribute?
Yeah, it was beautiful to hear about loving yourself because I don't know. One time I hear this phrase, uh, it was, I think, RuPaul's. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah. Of
Uh,
course. RuPaul.
he said that if you don't fucking yourself, digamos, if you don't love yourself, entonces, profe, es que no sé cómo decirlo.
I think it was, let me see, if you don't love yourself,
How the hell you wanna
how the hell you're gonna love somebody else?
yeah, it was that. And I think it's right because when you don't love yourself, you can love other person.
Right. And I think people are usually empty inside because they haven't taken the time to know themselves, know what they like,
Right.
you know, and they start looking at in somebody else. And so that's why the relationship might not work, because they're looking for something that they are the only ones that can give it to themselves, right?
Yeah. She she said that I don't remember, like at that time she was like she's more focused about if he likes them than the other way, that it's like her decision. I don't know.
Yes, right. So she was more focused on her opinion about herself than his opinion, right?
Yeah, right.
On a date. Yeah. All right. Great ideas, great contributions. Anybody wants to add to that? Your first reactions to, did you understand what she was trying to say? Did you understand all of it? Most of it? Okay. Well, I have some questions to help with discussion, but before that, let's take a look at some of the words. So for instance, this word, this phrase, will you marry me? What's the correct answer? Well, not the correct answer, but let's say you want to say yes. So how do we answer that? Will you marry me? What will be the correct answer for yes? So in Spanish, we say what? Sí, right? I think there's no more than that.
I think that's I do.
Right. So in English, we just say I do, which is another way to say yes, I do, right? Like, I think if you say I will, doesn't sound as convincing. It doesn't sound like it's gonna happen, right? It's more like a probability. I will, maybe at some point, but I do means like, yes, like I'm committed. I do. I believe we should get married. So, okay. What's the meaning of dry spells? If we go back to her live, what? Oh no, 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can go back. So if we go back to her life description, this is what, she has is long, empty, dry spell. What do you think is a dry spell? If you Google it, what does it mean?
It's like a bad time.
It's kind of related to a bad time, but it's usually, well, if there's like dry spell because of the weather, there's usually no production of vegetables or something. Like there's usually, we say in Spanish, sequía, right? Like a dry spell. But in English, like, and when it comes to relationships, what do you think it means if there's like a period of dry spells? What's that mean? So in weather and vegetables or fruits, it's like there's no water. So it's just very dry. But for relationships, how can you associate that with relationships? Which is kind of, now that I think about it, it's kind of shouldn't be called dry spell, right? But it's like the period of time when you're not even dating anyone, you're not seeing anyone, you're not having sex with anyone, you're not you know, you don't have any relationship with anybody else. It's a dry spell. You're just focused on yourself, maybe, right? Okay, then when do we say you get the picture? What's that mean? You get the picture.
I think like in that context, it's like she tries to describe something, but she isn't too specific. She's just like, you get the picture, like you're understanding the thing.
Right, exactly. You're getting it, right? I don't have to, I mean, you get the big picture of what she's trying to say. Failures, guys, we pronounce it, let's pronounce it together. It's like fail and then yours, failures.
Failures.
Failure.
Failures. Okay, what's the meaning of trial and error? Have you seen that before? They go together. Trial and error.
Yeah, it's like
error.
Like error, teacher, right?
Exactly. Yes. And Carolina was going to say, but yes, trial and error. When you try and you make mistakes, but you learn from it, right? There's some things you have to do with trial and error, like experiments or things like that. These expressions, woohoo, right? In English, it's very common to write down the expressions sometimes. And this is the spelling. Like woohoo means what? Woohoo.
They're both like celebrations.
Right. It's like, yay, like amazing. Woo, right? It's like the opposite of boo, right? Woo. All right. Divorcee. What's a divorcee?
Someone you divorced.
Divorcee, it's the woman. She is a divorcee. So she's been divorced. The person, like a fiance would be the person that is engaged to you. A divorcee is the person that got divorced. Okay, makes sense? She's a divorcee, right? So why are we taking advantage, excuse me, why are we taking advice from her? Well, she has experience, right? She can tell us from her experience what she learned and we can apply it to our own lives, right? Marriage material, what does it mean if I say, oh, he's marriage material or she's marriage material? What does that mean? Oh, he's not marriage material, like, or she's not marriage material. What does that mean? What does that refer
Like
to?
he has a personality or characteristics that you'll say, I will marry him. Like he has marriage material. Like boyfriend material is someone that, oh, he's so cute. Like he has these things. I will totally date him. Things like that.
Right, so all the checks. It's like, oh wow, stability, maybe handsome, maybe pretty, maybe I don't know what your requirements are for the person you want to get married, or if you want to get married, but we'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, people call other people marriage material or not marriage material if they're not the person that fulfills their expectations, which is kind of cruel to have like checks, but I guess it's also fair, right? Like you want to get married to somebody that can offer you all those things, right? What are you offering? We'll see. I don't know. Then till death do you part, right? In Spanish, how do we say this? Till
hasta que
death.
la muerte
Hasta
los
que la
separe.
muerte nos separe.
Right? So we don't say until death separate us, whatever. This would be the proper way in English. Till death do us part. Do us would be like, because, you know, we're talking about us. Aisle. What's an aisle?
The place where you walk down to where you get married.
Right, that's one example. So when you get married, maybe you're
Yeah, it's like a thing part where you walk around
yeah,
in a
exactly.
straight way, in a straight line.
Right, kind of like a hallway. If you go to a supermarket, they also have aisles, right? It's like, oh, where's the ice cream aisle? Oh, it's at the end, right? Or where's the sugar aisle, whatever. I don't know the names of the aisles, but I guess, or where's aisle 7, right? Or whatever. So aisles are also what? How do we say that in Spanish at all? You know? In supermarkets.
Pasillos.
Pasillo. Good job. We don't pronounce the S, okay? And if you're getting married, then the church might have an aisle, right? So you're, I don't know, the church or the place where you decorated might have an aisle, okay? This is kind of common if you love your hair, you know, maybe you comb your hair and you love it. Then you say, oh, I'm having a great hair day today, right? Like, this is my day's nice because my hair is nice, right? So people say that a lot, you know, or, oh, look, you're having a great hair day. Like, I love your hair, right? Whatever. So nurse, we know what a nurse is, right? What's a nurse?
Enfermera.
Yes, and to nurse?
I think it's like taking care of a baby, or it has something to do with babies, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you could also nurse yourself, right? Like you can protect yourself. It does have that feeling of you need protection, but
Profe,
yeah.
como en español sería como chinearse, ¿no?
In a way, yeah, protect yourself, to nurse yourself. Like maybe you're sick, you're gonna nurse yourself. You're gonna make sure that you're good, right? In good health. And yeah, exactly. To be whole, what's the meaning of to be whole?
Estar completo.
Yes, to be complete. So to be whole, not to be empty. This is pronounced whole, okay? Like a hole in the ground, but it's different spelling, okay? And when do we say God forbid? What is the meaning of that? Mostly older people say that, but I guess we can also say it, right? If we don't want something to what? God forbid. What does that mean?
Sí, sería como Dios no lo permita, ¿no?
Right. So we don't want something to happen. If you believe in God, or you know, maybe people say that, or sometimes we don't even
In
believe it and
Spanish,
we just use
it's
that.
more like Dios guarde.
Dios guarde. Well, we know Dios guarde, right? Like, God forbid that she's pregnant. God forbid, like things that you don't want to happen. Okay. But yeah, so you can use God forbid. Cool. So let's move to a little bit of practice with this real quick, because I want more people to participate a little bit. And remember, it's kind of important to talk now, to use your English, even if it's not 100% great. Like that's how it gets great, by practicing. So, nobody's married here, right? Everybody's, and I don't know, who knows, maybe somebody's married. My mom got married at 17, I guess.
God forbid, teacher.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I think it's like now we have different priorities, right? Now, will you ever get married? What do you guys think? I want to hear opinions. Why or why not?
I guess I haven't thought about that. I think I'm too young to still think about it. Like I've seen my family, my fair share about marriage. So I think it's gonna wait a long time before I take that decision.
Yes,
But
before you.
I think marrying for me will be more of a another way to say that we've been together for a long time. But it's not like I will do the ceremony for because it's fun, using money and celebrating, but I don't think it will have like a legal meaning. It will be more of like on our relationship status, like more of la conexión, the connection between us.
Yeah.
That's what I would call marriage, but I won't really like do it in a religious or legal way.
Makes sense. Good. Yes, you have your own definition of it, and I think that. I mean, remember that our opinion could also change along the way. Well, in my case, I never really wanted to get married, and I probably will never do it unless I have some benefits out of it. You know what I mean? But I think that's like, it depends on the situation, right? What about the rest of you? Do you guys agree with me and Sammy, or have you thought about it? I know you're too young, but is it a possibility? Do you think that the idea of marriage is actually something that you believe in? Does anybody want to say something?
Hey, teacher, can I?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead. Jump in.
For my part, I don't think that you need to get married. At the end of the day, it's just a document, so you don't need to get married to be a happy couple.
Mhm. Some people might argue that it's like a gesture of love. What do you think about that? Is it only a paper?
Can you repeat,
Teacher,
please?
Some people think that it's a gesture of love. What do you guys think? I think, is it Alejandro that wanted to say something?
yeah, teacher. I think marriage sometimes it's like necessary because a lot of people how do I say it? Sometimes people want to, I don't know how to say pedir un préstamo.
You can say ask for a loan or request a loan.
Okay, when you're gonna request a loan, it may be a bigger loan if you have two salaries instead of just one. If you are not married to another person, you just have one salary, your salary.
So marriage might give some conveniences and benefits, right? So that's what I mean by benefits, right? It's like, okay, if it works for both of us, but we understand what our relationship is going to be, right? It doesn't have to be a typical marriage. It could be your own definition of marriage, right? But if it gives you benefits, maybe we're more tempted to try, right?
And teacher, another thing is that you can get like the to be citizen of another country if you marry someone from another country.
It's another, yeah, exactly. That's what a lot of people do, right? Which is not completely legal. But if you are in love and you get married and it's an actual marriage and you can prove it, why not? You're going to get citizenship. You're going to get the residence or whatever it is, the green card, I think. So it might work for some of us, right? But again, I like the fact that you guys are not really loving, excuse me, not really talking about love or as a love gesture. Does anybody have anything to say regarding that? And don't be afraid if the majority doesn't believe in it. Like if you believe in it, it's totally personal, right? This is nothing to do with what's right or wrong. It's just.
Teacher, I just think that marriage is necessary just from a legal way, not for love, because if you love someone, that person should understand that you don't need to marry them to be happy with them or to love them.
Right. It's a little old-fashioned way to think, right? It's like, oh, well, you do need to get married to me to show me that you really love me, right? Which is not really true. Because actually, sometimes you get married and it's a different relationship, right? It's like you can start seeing other, what, flaws, or not really flaws, but notice things that you didn't like before. I don't know. There's a lot of things. Let's take a look at the next question. Okay, so that one doesn't apply to you guys, and that one either. Okay, so if you do get married or in a relationship in general, what is the key for success? What do you think is, I think we talked about that at some point, but what do you, why do you think marriages don't last and there's a lot of people getting divorced? What's the recipe for success to make it work? or it's just unrealistic, like we're not meant to marry, so the whole idea is
Yeah,
just not
I
okay.
think like something that happens a lot is miscommunication. I think most divorces happen because of miscommunication or like little trust on the other person.
Yeah.
So, but you also say that like you can't promise your whole life to someone because you don't know your future. You don't know if you will keep you will keep loving them tomorrow. So it's like weird to promise your whole life to someone.
It's a big decision, right? It's like, oh my
Yes.
God.
It's a very deep decision. So that's I think like people like stop loving the other person because like I didn't think we will get this like I didn't think we will get this like
tired
nos
of each
amaríamos
other?
por tanto tiempo. That's what I'm trying to say.
That it would last this long.
Yeah, that it will last this much. So things like that, I think it's like most of the why marriages keep failing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe people marry for the wrong reasons. Maybe they don't have it clear. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe like Tracy McMillan, maybe they're looking for something that they didn't have, that, you know, she was in 26, 25, I don't remember, foster cares, foster homes. So what does that mean? Well, she didn't have a stability. She didn't have someone that wanted to take care of her. So she was looking for that in a man. And that's why they kept failing. It was not the man, which is surprising to me because usually, but it was her, right? Who like didn't, I don't know, wasn't satisfied, right? So cool. All right. So the next one, not that one.
Teacher,
Yes, go on and say
can I
something.
to say the before a question?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I think maybe the peace generate by the marriages between the two, and that love evolves through the years for the better, etc.
Can you say what you just said one more time, please?
Okay, I think maybe the peace generate by marriages between the two, that love evolves. Sorry, teacher.
No worries. Something happened to Samuel. So let's give him a moment.
Sorry, teacher.
No worries. Can you complete your idea again, please? Sorry.
One moment. Sorry, teacher.
What's happening?
No. Solo mi papá entró nada más.
Oh, okay.
No quería que me interrumpiera.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Sorry, teacher.
So you were saying?
Sorry?
You were saying?
Insane.
You were saying something? Can you complete your idea?
Yes. ¿En qué quedé? I don't remember.
Do you remember at all? What's the point that you're trying to make?
What is the success in the marriages? Okay. I think maybe the peace generate.
The peace. What do you mean the peace?
Like tranquilidad. How do you say?
Oh yeah, the peace. Yeah, the peace.
The peace generate between the two. And I don't know. The love evolves through a través de los años.
throughout the years.
Throughout the years. That's it.
So you're
Don't
saying
repeat.
that the success would be like how the love evolving and the peace that both people have. That would be like the success for marriage, in your opinion.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. I mean, that's true. I mean, I think if you continue to evolve and as a relationship, like in a relationship, and maybe their love is not forever, but I guess if you keep like feeding it or sharing it, I don't know. I think it helps, right? All right, let's move to what was your favorite part of the video? Do you remember? Is there like a favorite part? I mean, we understand the idea of marrying ourselves, but was there like something that she said that you guys liked the most?
Okay, I think my favorite part is when she say like she have like a difficult childhood.
Yeah.
When she say like her mother was a prostitute and a alcoholic, and her father was a criminal. So I think it's, you know, okay, it's like como admirable.
Inspiring or admirable? Inspiring.
Yeah, okay.
Admirable. Mhm.
Admirable. That she like how do you say that? Like salió.
Throve. Succeeded.
Had to, to this situation, because it's so like complicated to have this this type of childhood.
Totally, yeah. I mean, it's a good example to other people, right? A model to follow. But even though she had failures, she says, right? So it's not like she's perfect. She had failures, but we can use it as an example. It's like, okay, we don't have an excuse. I mean, it happens. Like, I'm not really proud with my parents either, like especially my dad, because he's also an alcoholic. It doesn't mean I have to be one. It doesn't have to mean like I have to go in that direction either. So people sometimes use those things as excuses, and it's kind of personal. We don't know their story. But in your case, like, if you have like a rough childhood or family members that are not great influence, you always have a choice, right? So I think that's important to remember. Good. Anybody wants to add to this?
Teacher, me, the part when she said the song, it's easy, like you found the love, married and baby, and she showed all the things in life isn't easy.
Right, exactly. I mean, when we're little, they teach us a lot of stuff that are not real, right? Or sexist, or do you remember the arroz con leche? I mean, you guys are probably too young, but like kids used
Yes,
to
the
like,
song.
yeah, the song about arroz con leche.
Well,
Arroz
I
con.
did. Like, I will always sing it, but I think it's because of my brothers and my siblings, because
Yes.
they are older. Like, right now they're like 30. So I
Yes.
like grew up with things that they used to do.
Yeah.
Even when
Yeah.
I'm like 15, I'm like half their age.
Totally. And I think it goes through generation, from generation through generation, and not all the time. Some people might be like, this is sexist and we're not gonna say it again because it doesn't really teach girls what's supposed to be like. They're not supposed to be cleaning and they're not supposed to serve men, right? This is like songs like that. It's similar to the one that she was singing. It's like, life is not about that. Imagine how sad life would be if it was only those three things. It's like, doesn't make sense. So yeah. All right. Anybody wants to add to that? Say something? You good? All right. Was there something that you disagreed on, or something you're like, well, I don't agree with her,
I don't think so.
right? It seems like she was. Oh, go ahead. I can't hear you that well.
That's a beautiful speech.
Beautiful speech. Yes. Cool. Let's jump into some grammar before we take a recess. We're gonna take a little recess soon, but I want you guys to pay attention to some words. Like I already explained some, but there's some others that are like important. So to turn out to be, right? In this case, you know, maybe her dad was a criminal, her mom was a prostitute, but she didn't turn out to be one of those, right? To turn out to be, it's like a result, right? Oh, how was the party? Well, it turned out to be very fun. I didn't think so, right? I didn't think it was going to be that fun. Or how was the movie? It turned out to be, I don't know, awful. I didn't like it, right? So it turned out to be, it's result. Dry spells I already explained to you. Okay, so when there's like period of time, usually longer than shorter, without, excuse me, something. In this case, relationship or sex, right? But it could also be for the weather. You know, if it's like a dry, like this, look at all this. It's not green, you know, it's like dry spell. Okay. All right, next one. Blah, blah, blah. When do we say that in English? Blah, blah, blah. Do I say it? Do you use it sometimes? Or no? You think it's silly? Blah, 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 right? When you don't want to what? You don't want to complete what you're saying, right? So can anybody give me an example?
Maybe when do one is still talking about something.
For
You-
example?
I don't have
Teacher.
an example, teacher, right now.
Does anyone have one?
Teacher,
Yes.
maybe when a person talks a lot.
How can you use it in context?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. So be like, oh yeah. I mean, sometimes we're also kind of angry when you say blah, 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 but it depends. It will be like, yeah, I was doing a lot of different things, and maybe you're listing the things, right? I was working out, going to this place, and blah, 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 right? Blah, blah, blah is just like, etc., right? Like more, it's not that important to mention it because it's kind of obvious. Some people say yada, yada. That's another way. So you can use whichever you want, okay? Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Both are common. Okay, next one. Co-parenting. Do I have any volunteers that would like to help me read?
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Co-parenting is a post-divorce parenting arrangement in which both parents continue jointly participate in their children's upbringing bringing and activities. This involves a substantial amount of interactions between the parents, both in public and private.
Private.
Okay.
Upbringing is another word for growth. El crecimiento de ellos, right? Co-parenting. Co means two, right? You're helping, cooperating. So co-parenting makes sense, right? It's like you get divorced, you're co-parenting, you're not parenting anymore. Co-parenting means you're doing it with the other person, but maybe you're not married anymore, okay? So co-parenting. Then we have, we already have that. Trial and error, we already talked about that one. Heart of gold, did anybody look for this phrase? What's a heart of gold? My grandma has a heart of gold. What's that mean?
Someone who is good, like someone who like is very generous, very loving, someone that you really like because of their personality.
Exactly. So
it was very cute that she said that her dad was alcoholic, but he had a heart of gold. That means like he had bad he was doing something bad, but he didn't ever like treated her badly. So he
right.
had a heart of gold.
Right. So she's talking about this one as a disease, maybe like something out of his control. It doesn't, just because you're an alcoholic doesn't mean you're a bad person. I mean, I understand it might be associated because, people are supposed to have or make their choices. But at the end of the day, it's an addiction, it's a disease, and there's still good people sometimes, right? So heart of gold, people who are genuinely nice and good and they want to help others if they can, right? Um, as the word says, their heart is worth gold, right? Cool. All right. There's this show, I don't know if you've watched it on HBO, Euphoria. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a little depressing sometimes, I have to admit. So be careful with that. But I also
But I
think it's,
really like the show.
yeah. What do you think about it?
Sometimes it's like you say, it's I don't know the whole situation.
I can't hear you that well, Carly. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, I think that it's my microphone.
Oh, okay. And
Do you hear
now it's
me
working.
well?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, that I was saying that the show is fun to watch, but it's sad to see the whole situation about Rue and her problem with drugs.
Right. And this is very, very real in a way. A lot of young people are going through this, especially in the US or other countries. So it's like eye-opening. You open your eyes and you realize it's more than what society tells us it is. But yeah, I recommend to watch it, but I also recommend to watching things that are also cheerful because you might get a little bit, I don't know, disappointed in life. All right. But the point is to learn more. But yeah, I recommend it. Euphoria is really good. The acting is amazing. And I think for you guys it might be really interesting. So cool. All right. Next one, real quick. We're almost going to recess. Foster home. So it's a place that what's a foster home? I kind of explained, but foster home, place that takes care of what? Of who?
Takes it's like homes, like parents that they like accept children or teenagers for them to take care of them because their parents can't.
Right. It could also be like here, Pani, right? Like a foster home. So, but yeah, so generally places that will, raise kids, I guess, until they get adopted, maybe. But maybe some of them might not get adopted, right? So MBA is a Master of Business Administration degree, right? This is a master's. If you hear that, it's another kind of certificate. Vows, pronounce this with me, guys. This is vibrated. Vows.
Vows.
Vows, we say in Spanish what for vows?
Los anillos.
Nope.
Votos.
Los votos. So
bueno, sí, porque
yeah, exactly. Vows would be like I don't know the exact word. Until death do us part, in sickness and in health, all this. Oh, sorry. And yeah, a gray hair day today. This one is just the pronunciation is kind of funny. We're gonna practice real quick, but day, today, right? So let's say I'm having a gray hair day today. Hair day. So this D, if you want to sound much more natural, when we join hair and day, this D sounds like an ere. Hair day. Hair day today. It's a little weird for the tongue. You don't have to say it like that, but it's just practice. You can say, I'm having a gray hair day today, but Americans would probably say, I'm having a gray hair day today. It's like weird. Can anybody practice or let's do it together? Gray hair day. Gray hair day.
Gray hair.
Gray hair day.
Gray hair.
Today. All right. All right, guys. Thank you. That's a little bit of conversation for now. that we're going to do is we're going to go over some phrases of the day. So the first phrase we have is legend has it. Have you guys heard this before?
No.
No.
No. Does anybody have any idea of what this could mean? The meaning of this?
No, teacher.
Okay, we're gonna read some examples and then I'm gonna ask you again and see if you understand. So, let's see, Andres, can you help me read the first example?
Yeah, it says, legend has it that the Arabs stole camels from the Jews.
Perfect.
Jews, I don't know.
Jews with a Z. Jews is very similar to Jews, right? But this one is with an S, juice. And the Jews is with a little vibration. So, all right, let's see. I want to have Daniela, can you help me read the second example, please?
Yes. Legend has it that both George and Martha Washington slept there.
Okay, so let's say that you're, I don't know, touring. So there's like a hotel or a house. Oh, legend has it that both George and Martha Washington slept there, right? So that's, something that happened in the past. How about Luis Diego? Can you help me read the last example?
Okay. Legend has it that Costa Rica used to have military.
Okay, so legend has it that Costa Rica used to have military in the old days. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Maybe not, like as advanced as other militaries around the world, but I think at the beginning of time, right? Of times. So legend has it. What do you think it means?
Teacher, is it like a little history of a fact, right?
Little story, you mean?
Yeah, of a fact.
Yeah, a little fact from the past, it has to do with the past, and it's not completely verified. Okay, so we don't know if it's true or not. Some people claim it to be true. Maybe if we do some research, we can prove it, but I'm just saying it because I heard it. Okay, so I heard it. I think that's what, I can recall or remember.
It's something that could happen, but I'm not sure about it.
That could have happened in the past, but I'm not so sure. I'm almost 80% sure, something like that, right? So a little
Teacher.
fact. Yes.
And that phrase is like when in Spanish we say la leyenda cuenta o cuenta la leyenda.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
in a
Dice la
way.
leyenda, Adriana.
Yeah, it's kind of similar, but I think in Spanish sounds more like super old, like in the old times. I don't know. In English is more common, like when you want to tell something that happened in the past. But yeah, it's kind of similar. Yes. There's another one that I'm going to show you, which is similar. It's rumor has it. Do you guys have any idea of what this could be? Instead of legend
It's
has
like,
it.
dicen los rumores, supongo.
Something like that, correct. Can you help me read the first example?
Yes. Rumor has it that that player will get traded.
Thank you so much. And can I have, let's see, Michelle, can you help me read the second example?
Rumor has it that she cheated on him.
Cheated. So it means cheated.
Cheated.
Cheated on him. Do you understand the meaning of cheated?
No, teacher.
Cheated on.
Like engañar.
Es como ser infiel.
Yes. Infidelity. So she cheated on him. She probably wasn't loyal to her partner, right? So boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And then Fabian, can you help me read the last example?
Yes. Rumor has it that they are going to get married.
That they're going to get married. Oh, really? I don't know. Rumor has it. Like I heard it from somebody else, and that somebody else heard it from somebody else. And so it's not something guaranteed. It's more to spread gossip. You're spreading rumors. Okay. But again, you don't want to claim it to be true. So that's why rumor has it she's pregnant. I don't know. That's what I heard. Okay. So the person hasn't officially said it, but I heard it. Does that make sense? We have some other examples here real quick.
And legend has it that Saint Veronica offered Christ a cloth, a sudarium, as he was walking during the Passion, and when he wiped his face with it, it left an imprint. So his blood and his sweat left a stain of sorts. And although this is, somewhat unverified, we do have the Turin shroud. I'm sure, or I wonder if people are familiar with this image, which is a sudarium.
Here, that's a good example of the Bible, or the legend has it, right? That used to happen. We don't know if it's true, but it's sort of like a myth or a legend.
Together have been called the Three Brothers for centuries, and legend has it that they were built by 3 descendants of one family. In the medieval times.
Okay, so again, legend has it that it was built by 3 brothers or whatever. So we don't know if it's true. But
right, this place that legend has it, Genghis Khan went to every time he went to war, right?
So
that legend has it.
So this one is in the middle. You can use it in the middle. This place that legend has it, Genghis Khan went to, right? There's a beautiful place, looks like the mountains, right? So you can use it at the beginning, in the middle, to make a point, to say, oh, well, I heard it. I don't know if it's true. I heard it.
Views of old small villages like Pishota. Legend has it that descendants of the Trojans escaping from Troy founded a colony here.
Okay. And then let's take a look at rumor has it. As I told you, it's more about rumors, gossips, controversy, right? It's not so much about historic events, maybe, but they usually have a little bit of drama, right? So let's take a look.
Rumor has it the Queen enjoyed an intimate relationship with one of her advisors. Now, it was never confirmed whether or not they were having an affair, but hieroglyphics found in the servants' area of the archaeological site depicted a royal female engaged in unmistakable physical contact, erotic contact, with a non-royal male. So it's kind of like, did Brad and Angelina have an affair on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Ask the crew. The crew always knows.
Okay, so TED Talk. Affair, what's an affair? Does anybody know? It's similar to cheating, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a romantic adventure or sexual adventure outside your relationship, right? So it's cheating pretty much. But yeah, she's talking about the Queen. Rumor has it that she had an affair, right? We didn't know that. But yeah, let's take a look at another one.
Rumor has it some of you haven't been wearing them for years.
I'm going to go back a little bit with Obama because he's one of my favorite speakers. I hope that you guys can learn from him a lot. He uses good intonation. He makes jokes. He's very clear when he talks. Let's take a look.
Now it's the big day. Although I noticed that none of you are wearing your IDs. Rumor has it some of you haven't been wearing them for years. Today I'm exercising my power as president, granting an official pardon for all of you.
She ain't real. She ain't gonna be able to love you like I will. She is a stranger. You and I have history, or don't you remember? Sure, she's got it all. But baby, is that really what you want? Blessed up, so you got your head in the clouds. You made a fool out of you, and boy, she's bringing you down. She made your heart melt, but you're cold to the core. Now rumor has it she ain't got your love anymore. Rumor has it.
right, let's start with this presentation. We're going to start with the first three, sorry, will, going to, and present continuous. The rest of them are usually for higher, not higher levels because you're at the last level, but later in this course, you might have, to practice those, okay? So let's see. Will plus infinitive. I would like maybe Kendall Vargas. Can you help me read the first example here, please?
Yes, I will have a cup of coffee and a cheesecake. I
Good.
have just okay.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
No, well, I have just decided in the restaurant. Instant decision.
Okay, so if it's an instant decision, we also call it a snap decision or hasty decision. That means you're not really thinking too much. You don't have to put too much thought into it. You just already know, right? Are you going to pay cash or credit card? I will pay credit card. I'll pay, cash. So it's not a decision that takes a lot of planning. And those decisions, we're going to use will. Okay. Kendall, can you continue with the second example, please?
Yes, I will find the right job one day. I think this will happen, but I have no evidence.
Good.
Prediction without evidence.
Excellent. Can you say this again? I'll find the right job one day.
I'll find the right job one day.
Perfect. So we emphasize right more than job. The right job, right? I'll find the right job one day. Prediction without evidence. So what's this mean? Well, I'm predicting something in the future, more like a wish, like a dream, but there's not enough evidence right now. If there is evidence, we're going to be using going to, but if there's no evidence, we're going to use will. Okay. Next one, Kendall, can you also help me with that one, please?
I will help you with these bags.
I'll help you with these bags, right? So in this case, these bags, excuse me, you're offering. So it's like when you're volunteering to do something. I volunteer to help you with these bags, right? Like I'm offering, you're going to use will. Okay. Who wants to participate in the next activity? I'll do it, right? That's something that we do as well when we're trying to participate. You guys say a lot of, can I, like, can I, or I want to. But most Americans would say, I'll do it. Okay. So it's not like, can I participate or I want to? You can do that. It's okay. It's not wrong, but it's more common to say, I'll do it. I'll do it, teacher. Okay. That means I'm offering to do it. Okay. And then the last one, Kendall.
I will call you as soon as I arrive.
Which means?
I promise to do that. It's a promise.
Good. So I'll call you as soon as I arrive. Maybe it's a promise that is not going to happen. Sometimes you forget, but it's actually a promise, right? So I'll call you as soon as I arrive. I'm promising to call you, right? Whatever promises you guys make, I think we'll have to use will. All right. So that's kind of will for you. Questions about will, when you have to use it? Is it more clear? Yeah.
Teacher, using will is more common, right? It's like because I have watched or I've been seeing like a Modern Family. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I have
show.
that.
And
Yes.
they use a lot of I will do that. I will. And I'm not sure if they use the I'm going to, because I just remembered the I will.
Yeah, it's more common, but now it's usually for these reasons, right? Because they're making decisions quickly, because they're predicting without evidence, they're offering, they're promising. And it's funny because it's comedy. So maybe, it has to do with that, right? Comedy has to do with making decisions without thinking, predicting, offering, promising, right? So I guess it's because of that. Going to, we're going to see when to use it. It's mostly two different reasons. So that's probably why you don't hear it as much on comedy, because there's much more reasons to use will. Going to, there's only two. The first one, let's see, who wants to help me with this one? Anybody?
I
can
want.
help you.
Oh,
So I heard Darío and who else?
Melanie.
Melanie. So let's do, who was first? Let's do Darío, and then Melanie, you can help me with this other one, okay? Perfect. So, and Kendall, yeah, I answer your question. I think it's because will is more common, yes, for these reasons that I explained. And going to is not that common. It's only for these two that we're gonna see right now. So, Darío, whenever you're ready.
I just read the sentence, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's okay.
I went to visit my grandma. This is
Okay.
what I have planned. Plan or intention, I have already decided.
Okay, now let's say it a little bit more natural. I'm gonna visit my grandma. I'm gonna visit my grandma.
I'm gonna visit my grandma.
Perfect. Visit has a Z, right? It says vibrated. Visit. So it's something that I planned. Okay. I'm not a good planner sometimes, you know, when it comes to, I don't know, going out or visiting people or, you know, in my free time. So I don't usually say going to, right? But I guess if you're planning something or that's your intention, you know, like, why are you going to, what could it be? I don't know, why are you going to your friend's house? Well, we're gonna play video games, right? So it's like the intention or the plan that you have for that activity. We're not gonna use will, right? Because will sounds like in the future, like, you know, maybe it's gonna happen, maybe not. Going to seems like it's already planned. You already decided, okay? Dario, the next one, please.
It is going to rain. Look at those black clouds. Black clouds. Sorry.
Yeah, black
I'm
clouds.
I'm referring to evidence and making prediction based on evidence.
I'm referring. Perfect. So this is also prediction, but you have a little bit of evidence, even if it's just looking outside the window, right? It's like, oh, wow, look at those black clouds, right? Like there's evidence. So it's probably going to rain. It will rain could also be predictions for weather, but forecast, you know, like a forecast would be when you watch the news. So it says, oh, tomorrow it will be sunny, and later that, you know, it will rain all night, whatever. So forecasts usually will. They're not really based on a lot of evidence, even though they might have evidence, but forecast is will. And if you are the one looking for the evidence, maybe on the clouds, maybe it smells like rain, maybe I don't know, there's birds flying around, whatever it is. So you're gonna use that as a evidence for your prediction, right? So it's gonna rain instead of it will rain. Okay. So those two reasons we're gonna use going to, pretty much. Okay. Then we have present continuous or present progressive. So let's take a look at the reasons why we use it. Off you go, Manny.
I'm staying at Astoria Hotel. We're getting married in July. I have already booked my stay, reserved the church, future arrangement. Another person or organization is involved.
So I already booked my stay. This person is going to get married at the church, right? Which is not very common anymore. But yeah. So what does it mean? It's already paid for, right? Like I'm staying and we're getting married. It sounds like you're already picturing in your mind. So you already see that's happening. Usually when we want things to happen quickly, when we want things to happen and we just want them now, we use present continuous, okay? So future arrangements, maybe there's more people involved, there's an organization involved, there's a payment involved. And so that makes it even more solid, right? More concrete, not so much of a wish, but more like a plan that is gonna happen soon, okay? And those plans are there's probably it will be very difficult to change them. Okay, so does that make sense so far? Yeah. Okay, cool. So a little summary. Going to is for, excuse me, will is for promise, instant decision, offer, and prediction with no evidence. Let's see. I would like to hear the other Kendall. Kendall, are you there? So not Kendall Vargas, but I think it was Kendall Alpizar, right? Okay, he's not responding. How about Cyan? Can you help me with future, excuse me, with present continuous? When do we use it for?
Okay, we use for future arrangements.
Future arrangements and going to?
For plans or intentions and predictions based on evidence.
Great job. Thank you so much for reading. Okay, I will send you guys like some links later after class that you can visit, but we also have other ways to express future, and this will be for maybe later because I don't want to confuse you, but we also have present simple, okay, for timetables, future continuous, which will be a longer action in the future. Like this time tomorrow, I will be sitting on a plane, right? So it's kind of interesting to use that, you know, the will be and then sitting. And future perfect, I will have done my homework by tomorrow, which is something that did not occur, but it will occur before another action in the future, right? But we'll study those later, okay? Those are other types of future. So before we jump into the practice in the book, do you guys have questions about the difference between will, going to, and be going to, and present continuous?
Teacher, could you explain to me again when do I use like present continuous and future like with going to?
Yeah.
Like what's the difference, please?
The difference between present continuous and be going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so be going to, excuse me, present continuous is more like you're already seeing it in your mind. So it's like like for instance, oh, I'm like you already see it as a fact. It's not so much like a promise or like a possibility. It's more like a fact, like, oh, I'm traveling to Colombia next week, so that means it's going to happen. Like, you know, like I already have the tickets, I already have the hotels booked, I already have all the plans arranged. I'm going to, it's also possible, you know, sometimes it depends on the context. Like, it's not like you can use only one for this and only one for this. It's just that it might have like a different meaning, right? Like, I'm going to travel to Colombia. Like, I'm kind of making plans. It's not that concrete yet, but it's gonna happen, I'm sure, you know, and I will go to Colombia. That would sound like sometime in the future, maybe not, right? So it's like the degree, maybe the difference would be like how close it is to happen, how real it is, over like just an intention, you know, that you have, right? That you might work for it, but maybe it will take a little bit longer, right? I have like another presentation here to show you. So give me one moment to find it real quick. Okay. Okay, so this one, let's see. So for example, people's schedules, or, you know, what are you doing tomorrow evening? Oh, I'm meeting Mary at 6:30 and we're going to the cinema to see the new Star Wars film. So it sounds like in this situation, for example, it sounds like it's already planned, it's happening tomorrow. We already know what we're going to be doing. If you say, I'm going to meet Mary at 6:30, it's also okay. And we're going to go to the cinema. It's also okay, but it's easier to reduce words, eliminate words, and use present continuous because it's most likely going to happen. to happen, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Sometimes we also use going to, be going to, if the sentence is ambiguous, like if it sounds like it's gonna happen right now, like the train is leaving, sounds present, right? Like right now. So we don't use, if it's ambiguous, we don't use present continuous. We prefer to use be going to. But you could also say that train is leaving in a few minutes, right? So then people know it's the future. So it's at the end of the day, it's your decision which one to use. Okay. But Americans tend to use present continuous more frequently than going to for things that are happening soon, like in 2 days, in a week. Going to is more like my intention is there. I'm going to work for it. And will is more like I want to do it, but maybe I don't feel like doing it right now, right? Like I'll do it at some point in my life. Okay. Make sense?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the more you practice it as well and see examples, it's also very common. Like for instance, going to go is not common. Americans tend to say going because it's going to go sounds repetitive. Or if you say going to come, also sounds kind of redundant. So it's like coming. Oh, she's coming tomorrow. She's going to come tomorrow. So sometimes Americans base decisions on how it sounds. If it sounds repetitive, use the continuous. If it doesn't sound, repetitive and it's an intention, use, going to. That's another way. It says here, it's the same kind of explanation, right? Will or won't, future events, and make predictions. Remember, predictions without evidence, right? Present simple, this one is also useful because we're talking about schedules and timetables. So if it's about a store or an event that starts and closes or opens and closes, we usually use present simple. The tour starts at 9:45 a.m. Maybe that's in 2 weeks, or maybe it's in 5 minutes, maybe, but we're using present simple for future, okay? But that's only for schedules, okay? We use present progressive to talk about fixed future arrangements. What is the meaning of fixed? Well, there's already a plan, everything is paid for, it's already there, okay? All I have to do is go, okay? I'm visiting the Kennedy Space Center tomorrow, okay? And going to talk about plans and intentions. So Branson is going to travel on the first flight. I'm going to make reservation, right? So it's not ready yet, like like present progressive, but I'm gonna work for it, okay? I'm gonna do it and make it happen. So let's try to practice here and see which one sounds better. So you have simple future with will, simple present, which is in present, or present progressive with ing. So number one, let's see. Each Virgin Galactic spaceship carries 6 passengers. What do you think makes more sense? Simple future, we say will carry. Simple present carries, or present progressive is carrying. What do you think?
I think it's that one, is carrying.
Each Virgin Galactic spaceship.
I'm going for will carry.
I think it makes more sense will, because I don't know, there's a lot of things that we don't know. We don't know if the spaceship is already invented or they're just more like picturing it in the future. Because if it's not invented, will, right? Each Virgin Galactic spaceship will carry, like I'm still imagining it, right? But if it's something that is already happening and maybe the event is happening soon, is carries, it's more like a function, like something that is a characteristic, right? So it's not like wrong or, there's no right or wrong answer because we don't have enough context. If we go to the reading, I think we will have enough context, but I don't want to go to the reading again. So let's do number 2. It says, I'm scared of flying, so I definitely a space tourist. Now, considering that there's still no tourists in the space, what would be the best answer?
Won't be.
Won't be, okay? Because again, this is not happening yet, right? We're still not able to go to other planets as a tourist, right? So number 3, my friends fly to Florida on the weekend.
Are flying.
Are flying. Good job. So it's kind of like a thing is happening, right? Oh my God, they're almost here. So sometimes when you're excited as well about something, we prefer to use continuous because it's more real, right? Number 4, their flight depart at 6 p.m. on Saturday.
It's
Departs.
Departs makes more sense because it's a schedule. So when you have like a time, and if it's an event or something that is scheduled, departs with an S. Leaves, right? Departs. Number 5, they made a reservation at a hotel in Orlando and they there for a week. They what?
Are staying.
They are staying there for a week, right? So we're using continuous form as well because the reservation is made, it's paid for, they have to be there. Right? Number 6, do you think lots of people travel in space? You have like a perception verb, think.
Will travel.
Will, right? When you have think, believe, wonder, those expressions, will makes more sense to use, right? Because it's not anything concrete, it's still not there. Okay. Number 7, where you go for your next vacation.
Where are you going?
This one is more flexible. Where are you going? Maybe the vacation is happening soon. Where will you go? Maybe the vacation is not so promising. It's not happening very soon. But yeah, where are you going? Hopefully the person is going to have vacation soon. So can you tell me what time the tour
ends,
right? Again, we're talking about a tour, an event. We're using simple present. Guys, the rest of you, who wants to go after Isaac? We still have Elizabeth, Fabian, Kayleen. Hurry up, guys, because we have more stuff to do.
Well, me.
Thank you, Fabian. Tell us something old about your life.
Well, I think a lot this answer, but something old about me is my haircut, maybe, because I still having it since I was like 8.
It's true. It's true because we've been teaching you since you were like a little boy, and I've seen your haircut the same way. It's the same. Do you go to the same salon or the same barber?
Yes.
It's nice though. It goes with your face. I like it. It's nice. So we also have this word, guys, hairdo. Like if you don't get a haircut, but it's more like a different style, we call it a hairdo.
Hairdo.
But in your case, if you
Hairdo.
cut your hair with scissors or
haircut.
the machine, we call it a haircut. So good. All right. How
I would
about
like to
something
change
new?
it, but I don't know.
Do you want to change it?
Yes, maybe.
Maybe get it faded on the sides like I did. You see, I got faded.
Yes, I should try this.
You should. And the hair grows back. So, you know, if it goes wrong and you don't like it, just wear hats all the time and it'll grow back. So,
Yes.
nothing to worry about. Okay, what about something new in your life?
Something new, maybe that I started to like more computers or the gaming world, because well, I have ever liked this like technology and all this stuff, but now more, and also something that I'm looking forward to, it's buying a computer, but it is way expensive. Like a good computer, it's like 800 or a million colones.
Yes. What kind of computer are you trying to buy?
A gaming computer.
Yeah, of course. They're expensive. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you can start saving up a little bit, and at some point you might be able to afford it and pay, you know?
Yes, I will have to.
Yeah. I mean, you could also be like telling your parents or your families, like, I have this much. Can you guys help me with this little bit? And you know, something like that. That's how I used to do it, because sometimes it's difficult to get your own stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
But I
your
hope you
grandma. Your grandma.
exactly. It's like only that. All right, cool. Who wants to go next? Thank you, Foyan. Appreciate it. What about this one? What do you think about this picture?
Yeah. It makes sense. I can see the message. Yeah,
Now,
that is a
I'm not,
delicate topic. Yeah.
it is delicate. I'm not agreeing with the picture, right? Because I don't think it's correct in my case.
Mhm.
But what do you guys think? Is it permitted if a hot guy says, "Hey, you're looking good"? But what about if a creepy guy, we even call him creepy, right?
An
It's the
ugly,
same thing to you.
an
What do
ugly
you-
one.
Uh-huh.
I think it's part of the double standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, is it okay for you to decide who you want to receive compliments for, or is it society that tells you? Oh,
Yeah,
It's a good point. Yeah, you got an excellent point.
that's what I'm gonna say. So just I don't know how to say it in English.
say it,
Like,
say it. Uh-huh.
like if you want to like them tell a good compliment, but and the other one no, it's okay. Like you don't have to take
Mhm.
cualquier este
We call it
piropo, digamos.
compliments. We call it compliments, piropos. Can you say with me? Compliments.
It's really a compliment.
Compliments.
Very good. Nicole, go ahead. Sure.
It's really a compliment because I don't know. I feel like a compliment is something that you are like you like to hear, but sometimes when you hear a compliment in that way in Costa Rica, it just sometimes you don't like it. So I think I don't know. I have an idea of the word compliment, like something that is really nice. Like
Yes.
when they tell you something, you're like, oh, thanks. But I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at this one. It's very similar. So I'm just curious because it's like, are we using this double standard when people give us compliments, or are we also considering the intention in the compliment? Because some compliments they're not really compliments, right? They're look like compliments, but in the end, maybe people want something else, right? Or they want you to, just because they give you a compliment, they want you to say something nice, or
Yeah, depending of the subject.
depending on the subject.
It's like a look. Yeah, it's like a good-looking guy or good-looking girl because yeah, something happening in the both sides. Yeah, I think so. It's like a compliment. But yeah, if you use like a creepy guy, like this one with the glasses and
yeah,
it is like harassment, right? So yeah,
harassment.
it's depending of like your like what do you think is good or like do you like? So okay, yeah, always if you receive an compliments for attractive guy or handsome or sexy girl, things yeah, it's like a compliment. So yeah, it's nice. But if you receive like a compliment for a bad guy or a ugly guy or ugly girl, things it's like a harassment. So yeah, I think it's like a depending of the who made the comment. So yeah.
Okay, good. Nicole, you raised your hand. Guys, you can also raise your hands if you want to participate.
No, I was going to say like the last thing that I said, like it
Yes.
depends also sometimes with who tells you, like
Mhm.
and the relationship you have with that person. I think
Yes.
that matters a lot because maybe are the same words, but it comes for different persons.
Different people sounds better. Yeah, persons is not incorrect, but it sounds a little old. So we say people. A little old-fashioned, but people is fine. Okay, good points, guys. So who tells you, or who tells, excuse me, the compliment? With what intention? If you're attracted to that person, that also changes, obviously. If it's reciprocal, right? If you're not asking for the compliment, but it has to do with consent. Okay, and that's
Yeah,
something that
consent.
I wanted to talk about. What is consent? What do you guys think about consent?
When something is permitted from the other side.
Something is permitted from the other side, right? Let me see if I have a, so is this okay? Do you want to try? What are your boundaries? Does it feel good? Can I kiss you? Can I? So that's kind of consent, asking people if they want to receive the affection you're giving. A compliment, sometimes you're not asking for a compliment. Maybe it's inappropriate because maybe the person is doing it with the wrong interests, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm not consenting for that compliment, right? And sometimes I don't need that. It's not even a compliment. Sometimes we call it catcalling, right? Let me show you this other picture. I have them a little bit disorganized, but can you guys take a look? Few is like, whew, right? Few. It's what does it say there? I don't know what it says. Squirt. Oh,
Scorcher.
Squirt there. Squirt
Maybe
her.
it's like it's a hot day or
Score.
something like that.
It's a squawk. Probably the
Squawk.
squawk. Yeah.
Let me look it up. Squirt.
Hey, baby, come over
Squark
here.
means, I thought it was score, but I don't know, no idea what it means. So is a score hair? Well, it seems like it's a nice day, and then she's walking, and she's getting all these, we call them catcalling. Catcalling is like,
Catcalling.
"Oh, you got a man,
The-
hey sexy, blah blah blah," right?
The wolf whistle.
Exactly. They're wolf whistling. So all of this is not with consent, right? She's like, what the hell? And then she makes it to her date, maybe, or her friend, and she decided to wear something else, right? Because it's like, oh my God, I just can't help it, right? So yeah. So what took you so long? What, are you hot? Right? It's like, maybe she's super hot.
Yeah.
But you know, the weather is hot, but a lot of women go through this. And maybe you girls can tell us, right? Like, I mean, we know, guys, that this happens all the time to girls.
Yeah.
It also happens to guys sometimes, but I'm sure girls like have to think what to dress before going out, and they constantly get a lot of compliments, which are not compliments. What do you call it? Like compliments that are not wanted, unwanted compliments, or catcalls. What do you guys think about this one? No comments?
Like some
Yeah,
aggression
something.
or like
Yeah.
Let's hear Isaac first, and Nicole, and then Andre. Isaac?
Yeah, I think so. It's like the aggression to the person. So yeah, it is like I forget the word. It's like the reason is for the machismo.
Machismo. Yeah, we can say chauvinism, or shaw, like shaw. Or we could say sexism too.
Sexism.
Yeah, I think so. This is like the reason why, but it's not fair, right? Because yeah, the girl need to wear like the clothes like she like it, to feel free to walk in the street, out to walk in the free space. So yeah, I think so. It's like a chauvinism.
Excuse me, guys. I was
Teacher.
thank you. Yeah. It has to do with chauvinism, sexism, patriarchy is another word that we use a lot for this.
Patriarchism.
More like patriarchy. Let me know if you guys can hear, okay?
Dear older generations.
Can you guys hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it clear? Okay, perfect. So let's start again. Samuel is joining. And I do need you guys to be present, okay? Remember, I need you to be talking, and if you don't talk, I'll kick you out. I really will, because it's conversation.
Dear older generations, we can see there's a bit of confusion to what us millennial travelers are all about. So here's a message to you that may help. And we should start by saying, we're sorry. Sorry for being unable to sit still in an office. We fail to see the difference between working on a laptop in a cubicle or on a beach in Indonesia. Either way, the work will be done and on time. Otherwise, you have the right to fire us. We are digital nomads, and the entire world is our workspace, our classroom, our playground, and our home. The cubicle is a wooden box. Sorry for not buying into the whole society expectation of a mortgage, a family, and kids. Without a doubt, these things will be great experiences. But so is swimming with sharks in South Africa, dancing with tribes in Papua New Guinea, and tobogganing down a volcano in Nicaragua. You may call these desires selfish, but we believe that being in a relationship or raising kids while regretting not doing all these things is also selfish. Why surround the people we love with our own pain and grief? Call us entitled, privileged, or whatever names you want, but excuse us for ignoring you and proceeding forward. It's our mission to have racism, prejudice, and discrimination fade away into the history books, where it belongs. Sorry if we don't support wars or act with anger and hatred. We fail to see how using the things we hope to abolish can do any good. Instead, we love and move forward. Sorry if we keep saying we can change the world. We have all information at our fingertips and get answers within milliseconds. 3.4 billion people are online and only an email, tweet, or Facebook message away. It's hard to pass on this opportunity. We know you can also see the opportunity, but may feel too old or poor to do something about it, when really you do have a choice. And if you can't see this opportunity, that's a problem in itself. Sorry for not seeing the value of paying $30,000 a year to sit in a century-old lecture hall and learn about things that are free online. Even though they're free, we're still not interested in them. Which is why we need to discover our passions and interests, and the only way we know how to do that is to travel. So that's where we invest our money. Sorry if we take photos and videos of everything we do and share with our friends online. It was someone's post and words of encouragement that gave us the strength to follow our passions in the first place. So we're kind of this massive community in support of following dreams and overcoming fears. We believe there's a difference between living and merely existing. But there isn't much difference between merely existing and death. So for that reason, we choose to live. With much love, Millennial Travelers.
Do you guys need to watch it one more time, or you're good? Did you have 2 questions or 2 comments you have to write down? Okay, we're gonna watch it one more time, okay? And then we'll discuss it, okay? I wrote some things that could help you kind of guide yourselves, but good.
Dear older generations, we can see there's a bit of confusion to what us millennial travelers are all about. So here's a message to you that may help. And we should start by saying, we're sorry. Sorry for being unable to sit still in an office. We fail to see the difference between working on a laptop in a cubicle or on a beach in Indonesia. Either way, the work will be done and on time. Otherwise, you have the right to fire us. We are digital nomads, and the entire world is our workspace, our classroom, our playground, and our home. The cubicle is a wooden box. Sorry for not buying into the whole society expectation of a mortgage, a family, and kids. Without a doubt, these things will be great experiences. But so is swimming with sharks in South Africa, dancing with tribes in Papua New Guinea, and tobogganing down a volcano in Nicaragua. You may call these desires selfish, but we believe that being in a relationship or raising kids while regretting not doing all these things is also selfish. Why surround the people we love with our own pain and grief? Call us entitled, privileged, or whatever names you want, but excuse us for ignoring you and proceeding forward. It's our mission to have racism, prejudice, and discrimination fade away into the history books, where it belongs. Sorry if we don't support wars or act with anger and hatred. We fail to see how using the things we hope to abolish can do any good. Instead, we love and move forward. Sorry if we keep saying we can change the world. We have all information at our fingertips and get answers within milliseconds. 3.4 billion people are online and only an email, tweet, or Facebook message away. It's hard to pass on this opportunity. We know you can also see the opportunity, but may feel too old or poor to do something about it, when really you do have a choice. And if you can't see this opportunity, that's a problem in itself. Sorry for not seeing the value of paying $30,000 a year to sit in a century-old lecture hall and learn about things that are free online. Even though they're free, we're still not interested in them. Which is why we need to discover our passions and interests, and the only way we know how to do that is to travel. So that's where we invest our money. Sorry if we take photos and videos of everything we do and share with our friends online. It was someone's post and words of encouragement that gave us the strength to follow our passions in the first place. So we're kind of this massive community in support of following dreams and overcoming fears. We believe there's a difference between living and merely existing, but there isn't much difference between merely existing and death. So for that reason, we choose to live. With much love, Millennial Travelers.
Okay, comments, questions? Anybody can interact and react. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just talking.
I don't know, for me, like the comment of for us, every place could be a workplace is like so important, because for the older generations, that it's like so weird because they always like think that we are weird for use technology and this type of things. And no, for us it's like so easier. I don't know.
So much easier. Yeah, exactly. It's a good point. So technology, right? Our parents or great grandparents, they didn't grow up with technology, right? I think Andres wants to say something.
Yeah, as Tracy said, any place could be a workspace, but also I think that there's no correct way to work. And I want to say, you could work in an office, it's perfect, but you could also like maybe made streams on Twitch, and that's also a work today. So there's no correct way to work.
Very
and
good.
Nowadays everything could give you money, so everything is a work today.
Excellent. There you go. So not only working from home is awesome due to technology, internet, you know, all these benefits that we have at work now, but also we don't even have to work for anybody. We call it working for the man. Working for the man means you're working, reporting to somebody. Now we have a different mentality sometimes. We want to have our own businesses. We want to have our own way of making money, right? There's social media, there's YouTubers, there's Instagrammers, influencers, not even mentioning OnlyFans, for example, right? There's a lot of different ways to make money. Freelancers. So imagine, like, it's not just being in a cubicle, right? It's not just being in an office, having to work Monday to Friday all the time, but some people like that too. Like, what do you think about that? Like, do you think it has to be like that? Like, we should take advantage of having all these amazing advances and travel more? Should we just focus on family and friends and stability?
I think that we can choose everything we want, and the way that makes you happy is the correct way.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, yeah. So I think at the end of the day, we all have our own meaning or concept of happiness, right? Or even success, right? What do you guys consider as success? Because people say, oh, I want to be successful. What do you mean by that?
It depends of
It
what
depends,
do you
teacher.
think that is success. Because for me, success is to be happy and do whatever I want, and do my goals and everything.
Yeah.
I want to be more happy and feel I don't know, on the correct
Free,
way. Mhm.
independent, free. There's a lot of things. Like for me, it's being free. I don't want to be stuck in a job that will make me unhappy. I understand sometimes we have to do it, so we save money. That's why they say millennials can commit, right? I'm a millennial, and it's hard to commit to jobs because
Yeah,
if they don't give me the benefits I need, I'm gonna leave. But in the past,
exactly.
our parents were like, "Oh, I have to stay," right? Maybe they didn't have the best conditions. And it's not all bad. They stayed for years and maybe they got promoted and maybe they got more money and maybe they saved money. So both perspectives have advantages and disadvantages. But I guess now, I don't know, millennials and younger generations, Gen X and Gen Z, I guess is the next generation, Gen Zers. Those are like, I think they even think more about that you only live once, right? So we have to do everything we can before we die, and we can't just be wasting time, right? Um, Doing what other people wants us to do.
Enjoy the life, teacher.
Enjoying life, yeah, yes. I have a few questions here. I don't know if anybody has anything to say, but I also have some questions to help you speak more. So for example, it says here, can we change the world? What do you guys think? Do you think it's possible to change the world, or do you think it's just something we're wasting our time on, like climate change
Yes.
doesn't,
Sometimes
yeah?
it feels utopic, but
Mhm.
we can do it because if we do different kind of things and little things, it can be a big change if we work together and try
Mhm.
to be a better person.
Better people, yeah.
Yes, I
Exactly.
think the same. I guess everybody can change their own world, because I guess if you change your own world, your own house, your family, or your environment, you can start changing the rest of the world.
Mm, good job. So that's a good way to see it. It's not maybe one person alone can't, but if we all think about ourselves and our own little worlds, we might find some change, right? Andres wants to add to something.
Yeah, I just want to say it's possible to change the world. I think we can change the world, but not for be possible, it needs to be easy. Because for change the entire world, we have to change our mentalities, the other person's mentalities, the laws, all the governments and things like that. So it doesn't have to be easy, but it's possible.
Okay, good. So not necessarily something easy, but something, we call it possible. Feasible is another word. Feasible means is realistic, is doable, right? Now, do you guys think that, well, technology obviously helps, right? Do you think that, technology now it's available to everybody, right? I mean, do you think we are considered privileged and entitled because we were raised with technology? Um, like younger generations, do you think we have more advantages than our parents or older people have? What do you think about that? Are we more privileged than our parents?
Teacher, I think that
Depends, teacher.
Yeah. Somebody was also saying something.
me, teacher.
Samuel, go ahead.
I think the social media can help change the world because the teacher, how do you say la mayoría de personas?
The majority of people or most of the people.
The majority people in the world have access to it, and we can make a good change if it is done for the right reasons.
Okay, good. Now, yeah, exactly. We have access to that. Will help us as a platform to influence others, right? What about this? Like, do you think millennials or younger generations use too much like social media? Do they post everything on social media? What they eat, where they do, where they go? Now we have TikTok. What do you think about that? Is that something positive or negative?
It depends because every person have the power to do it on the correct way or in an insane way. way. It depends of I
The
don't know how
intention.
to say autorregularse.
It's self-monitoring, self-regulation. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. It depends on that. Also the frequency, how much time do you spend on social media, right? Like is it your job? Is it more like you're losing not like notion of reality, right? I think Cindy wants to contribute. Cindy, go ahead.
Yeah, teacher, I think that older classmates, I think that technology gave us more disinformation. I don't know if it's correct this
We
word.
call it misinformation.
Misinformation,
Mhm.
because as the classmate said, it depends on the person.
Mhm.
If we use in the correct way or in bad way, but I think all of us waste more time in technology or
Mhm.
TikToks or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
so yeah, what?
okay.
No, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
I think mm, by old days or how can I say los días, o sea, antes de
Uh, in the old days.
in the old days, we have to search the information or but
Mhm.
now the information is not
A problem.
necessary, yeah,
Mhm.
o es verdadera.
Oh, true. It's not
Okay.
necessarily true.
It's
Fake
yeah,
news.
yeah,
Good point. Yeah. So there might be a lot of information out there. We have to be very
yeah.
smart to find the right one and the one that's going to help us, right? Good. All right. Anybody
Agree.
wants? Uh-huh.
Okay, I agree because honestly, most of the people only show their perfect life, you know. But it can also be used in a good way. It is a way to reach more people for a good causes, you know.
Yeah. And you have an example?
I don't know. I think we can use the internet or the social media to help other people that maybe they can like pass or having a bad having
Bad day.
a bad day or a bad a bad life, and you can like use the internet to to help them.
Right. So inspire others. Because I'm not totally opposed to posting pictures and videos. I actually like doing that sometimes because then you have memories and I think you can inspire other people to do the same, to travel more, to get to know other people. And so, but if it's going to be a need for you, then that's the problem. If you have to do it because you need to impress others, then that's not the right reason to do that, right? Like you have to do it because it's a complement to having a great life and maybe being thankful, right? Being grateful for maybe being able to travel more, maybe working from home, maybe Wouldn't it be amazing to be in Europe right now taking classes? You know what I mean? Like it would be awesome because we have the choice. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, I think Tracy wanted to say something. She raised her hand earlier.
Yes, I was going to say that I think like could be a bad option sometimes, but it depends of your age because when I was younger I was like enjoying my childhood, and now I see like my cousins only doing TikToks or watching YouTube or that type of things, and they are like being like they are not enjoying their age that they have, and that's terrible, I guess.
Good. Yeah, no, that's for sure. I think it's kind of sad sometimes. I have a 15-year-old brother, and now he's socializing more because there's face-to-face classes, so he gets to see his friends. But during, the worst time of the pandemic, he used to stay home. He didn't want to talk to anyone. He just wanted to play video games. And, that was all he did. So even if we ask him, hey, let's go to the park, let's go to the beach, he didn't want to do it, right? So it's kind of sad that even us and even more our parents, they had all these amazing memories of playing outside, playing with whatever, dirt, or we have like a bunch of different games, right, that we played. And now kids don't have
Play
that,
on the
right?
street.
Play on the street. Yeah. I think Cindy wants to say something. Yeah.
No, play on the
Oh,
street or
yeah.
climbing the trees or I don't know,
Outdoor
many.
activities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm not saying one is better than the other, but one is definitely healthier than the other, right? And the other one can be a little damaging if it becomes an addiction, right? Like some parents do that. They give their kids their phone so that they can be quiet. It's like, oh my gosh, she's starting to cry. So here, watch a video, right? So
Yeah.
technology can be problematic too, right? Anybody wants to say something else? Comment? Good. People that haven't talked much, right? I know who you are. So please talk, say something. I have some other questions here. It says, being in a relationship, raising kids, right? What are your priorities? Do you feel like you want to be in a relationship, raise kids, or do you prefer to live other experiences like travel, backpack, cultures? Does anybody know their priorities? Do you have your priorities in order? What do you want to do? This is more like a personal question, and it can change, right? Like some people can change their mind.
My priority is you're the life teacher. Yeah, you're raising my kids and I got married.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. I mean, if that makes you accomplished and happy, then that's great, right? Anybody else? What do you prefer?
Now my priorities are like finish my studies, like go to the university, like go to parties, enjoy with my friends. No, definitely I don't want kids now. And I don't want to get married because I think it's like so stressful for me, and I really don't want that. And my parents always like are angry for that. And I guess like they are trying to decide for me what I can do for my life.
Good point. Does anybody feel the same way as Tracy? Do you think you don't want to get married and have kids?
Teacher, me, in this moment, I want to travel in now different countries and yeah, party and this, but them, I want to have a family and relationship and kids. But yes,
It's a great point, Daniela. She's actually.
I'll say, falta mucho.
We still have a long ways to go.
A long way
to go. This one is funny, right? Because ways is plural, but we still use a long. So we still have a long ways to go. You're right. And you're giving a good point. It's like one doesn't necessarily exclude the other. Like we can right now have a priority of traveling more and spending our money in experiences. Later, we could decide to have a family and maybe have kids, right? So I guess one doesn't mean you can have the other. It's just What do you
I think
prioritize?
I think we can. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I think I think we can do the two
Both.
things. First,
Yeah.
study and travel and
Yeah.
experience with your friends, and but then you can, if you want, you can have the family and child and
We call
children.
it settle
And
down. We
yes,
call it. We can settle down. Michelle wants to say something.
Yes, teacher.
Oh, Cindy as well. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, both of you. I mean, Michelle first, and then Cindy.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a husband or babies or these things, but I want to live alone and enjoy the life, travel alone, and do the things and just for me. And in the future, I want to say I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to go to the beach and I don't have to ask to somebody or to someone. I do the things just for that I want.
Right. So you don't depend on others. You are independent. Good point, Michelle. Yeah, exactly. Some people relate to you, I'm sure. Millennials, younger generations, because it's like, why do I have to meet society's expectations, right? What are usually society's expectations? Well, you go to school. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I support education 100%. But we have people from other countries who never went to school and they're successful, right? They have a lot of money and stuff. So sometimes it's like society tells us we have to. So we do that, we get a degree, we might have a house, we might be in a relationship, might get married, have kids, their kids have kids, then they do it again, right? So usually it becomes a little, I don't know, like a routine. And there's nothing wrong with it if you like that. There's nothing wrong. But at the same time, if you're doing it for your parents, that's the problem. Then you're going to depend on them all the time. And then you're 60, 70, 80, and you're like, oh my God, what did I do with my life? Right? Like, did I live other people's lives or did I live my life? Right? Because I'm sure people would probably do things differently if you give them a second choice. It's like, okay, I'm gonna reset the clock and we're gonna go back to when you were little. Okay, like would you do things differently, right? Would you change the job you have or the degree you have? Right, we would probably change a lot of things, right? Joseph wants to say, oh, sorry, Cindy and then Joseph.
No, teacher. This kind of question, being in a relationship, is a society expectation or an old society expectation, because the new generation changed their mindset. Mindset is correct, teacher.
Perfect. Yeah, mindset is a great word. Yes.
But because as the video show us, is enjoy the life, traveling or something like that, because this kind of question is I said before, a society expectation.
Exactly. Yeah. So some people don't want to follow society's expectation
Yeah.
and do something different, which is kind of hard if your parents keep pushing you, right? There's like usually, I remember in college in the US, most Asian students, people from Asia, especially from China, their parents, yeah, they migrated to the US maybe, but they usually want their kids to be engineers or doctors or lawyers, right? To make a lot of money. And sometimes they do it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Asian people are great at math all the time. That's a stereotype, but they probably are because they're always studying and they're always getting better because their parents force them, right? So that's a good example of, there's a movie that I'm gonna share with you. I think I don't know if it's on Netflix, about this. Like there's like an Asian girl who has a lot of pressure, and at the end of the day, she doesn't want to be what her parents want her to be, right? So lots of cultures have expectations, different expectations. Joseph, go ahead.
Teacher, I wanted to say that in these days with the actual society is, well, we have a lot of different perspectives, so it's so hard to complete the expectations of the people, because these days, well, these days are days dominated for, how do you say, retrogradas?
Let me look it up. Old fat? No, let me see. I would say outdated, maybe.
This day is dominated by outdated thoughts that the younger people is not de acuerdo.
Doesn't agree
with that thoughts. For example, the older persons thinks that a good expectative is, for example, get a degree, for example, or have a wife
Yeah.
or kids, and get a degree is not a good option. For example, usually it's just for work stability, right?
Yeah.
Or for the younger peoples, a relation is not a good idea, because give you more problems than solutions. It's the same with the kids. So in this day, if you think that you don't need it, they think about you, but it's the good option. Just think in you, think in your goals, in your expectations, and just that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's a good point. Why bringing more kids to this world if we still have a lot of things to fix, and we still haven't even worked in our own lives, or we don't have the stability that we need, or right? So yeah, the word is retrograde. That's the word. Outdated is also similar, right? And yeah, this word society. Can you guys say it with me? Society.
Society.
And then we have perspective.
Perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Who wants to say some final comments about this? Anybody? You're good? Okay. So after the recess, we're going to watch the other side of the coin. We're going to be watching older generations talking to young generations and give their point of view. So I also want you to pay attention and try to write down ideas, and it might change. Some things that we just talked about might change based on this other video, but I guess that's what's all about, right? At the end of the day, we all want to be happy, be successful, maybe travel more, have more experiences, right? So it's about respecting other people's priorities too, okay? So it is 12:53. Let's see, be back at 1. I'm gonna give you like 20 minutes. Let's be back at 1:15, okay? So 1:15, and don't be late. So we're gonna discuss the next video and check homework after. So, yep, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Continue recording. And we're gonna watch the other video, okay? So pay attention to it, write down any ideas, maybe if you change your mind, or not changing your mind, but maybe like complementing it to what you just said. So let's see, here it is.
Dear younger generation, please join us for a moment to reflect on a few simple truths. Millennials. It's a mindset, not an age group. You don't need to be born between 1985 and 2005 to share the same attitudes and ideas. Such a term simply profiles your age, not your sensibilities. Your rights, aspirations, and views are no different from those born before you. No one wants to be shackled to a job they don't enjoy, or be stuck in a place in which they feel they don't belong. We all want to see the world and embrace new cultures, people, and experiences. Who doesn't? I'm sorry you think we don't understand your dreams. Read Kafka, Kerouac, and Hemingway, and you will discover that these are the fathers of millennial mindsets. Older generations, they are no different than you. I'm sorry you think you're hard done by and you regard your parents as slaves to the man. They only wanted the best for you. Please don't judge unless you've walked many miles in their shoes. Sure, the cubicle is cliched. Let's step away from it and take a moment to be gracious towards those who got us on our paths. Whether friends or family, someone nudged our views into shape and gave us a sense of self-belief. The power of you. I'm sorry that you think raising a family is to be substituted from your pursuit of new experiences. I'm sorry if some older generations smirk at those Instagrammed artistic tattoos, superfood salads, and artisanal coffee shops and handcrafted sunglasses. We know there's more to you. I'm sorry to tell you that the older generation is equally concerned about the planet, politics, war, poverty, climate change, and all the other issues that riddle our generation. We don't like to burst your bubble, but your millennial sentiments are actually millennia old. Since mankind came into existence, it is in pursuit of new experiences. This romance, these dreams, and aspirations for a life well lived are not just yours. Each person on this planet is a millennial. Some with the latest iPhone and some with no clean water. These dreams of yours are the same as that destitute child in India living on the streets, or that Syrian orphan living in a refugee camp in Jordan. I say, go and travel, but don't be a spectator starring in your own show. Be a change maker, not just a millennial.
Okay, so that was the first time we watched the video. We're gonna watch it a second time, and then we'll jump into a discussion, okay? Interesting, right? Let me...
Dear younger generation, please join us for a moment to reflect on a few simple truths. Millennials. It's a mindset, not an age group. You don't need to be born between 1985 and 2005 to share the same attitudes and ideas. Such a term simply profiles your age, not your sensibilities. Your rights, aspirations, and views are no different from those born before you. No one wants to be shackled to a job they don't enjoy or be stuck in a place in which they feel they don't belong. We all want to see the world and embrace new cultures, people, and experiences. Who doesn't? I'm sorry you think we don't understand your dreams. Read Kafka, Kerouac, and Hemingway, and you will discover that these are the fathers of millennial mindsets. Older generations, they are no different than you. I'm sorry you think you're hard done by and you regard your parents as slaves to the man. They only wanted the best for you. Please don't judge unless you've walked many miles in their shoes. Sure, the cubicle is cliched. Let's step away from it and take a moment to be gracious towards those who got us on our paths. Whether friends or family, someone nudged our views into shape and gave us a sense of self-belief. The power of you. I'm sorry that you think raising a family is to be substituted from your pursuit of new experiences. I'm sorry if some older generations smirk at those Instagrammed artistic tattoos, superfood salads, and artisanal coffee shops and handcrafted sunglasses. We know there's more to you. I'm sorry to tell you that the older generation is equally concerned about the planet, politics, war, poverty, climate change, and all the other issues that riddle our generation. We don't like to burst your bubble, but your millennial sentiments are actually millennia old. Since mankind came into existence, it is in pursuit of new experiences. This romance, these dreams, and aspirations for a life well lived are not just yours. Each person on this planet is a millennial. Some with the latest iPhone and some with no clean water. These dreams of yours are the same as that destitute child in India living on the streets, or that Syrian orphan living in a refugee camp in Jordan. I say, go and travel, but don't be a spectator starring in your own show. Be a change maker, not just a millennial.
Okay, comments, questions. What do you think now that you watched, the
I
other
have a
side?
question.
Mm. Go ahead.
What means smirk? Like
Smirk.
S-M.
Yeah, me too.
What's the meaning of smirk? That's like smiling, but you're kind of making fun of somebody. Like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Like you're just, or have you heard the one in The Simpsons? Like, ha ha. That one is a smirk. You're kind of like, so, you know, older generations sometimes smirk. They think it's funny when people post things on everything on Instagram, right? What they eat, where they go, if they're taking a shit in the bathroom. Just kidding. That's just that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? All right. Somebody wants to have ask another question about vocabulary, or shackled is like stuck. Shackled is like being imprisoned, like you're in prison, like you're just actually in jail. But in this case, you're talking about being shackled in an office, right? You're being stuck in an office. So I want to hear you guys talk a little bit. Now we have the, what do you think now that we have the other perspective?
I think both are has the same perspective. Be a change maker, not a millennial.
Okay.
The old generation and new generation think that in the same way, but maybe different points or different words, but it's the same point.
Right.
Finally, it's
So
the same point.
at the end of the
At the
day,
end,
what
okay.
is the same point? It's yeah, exactly. I think they have more similarities than differences, right? Even though this sounds like a little passive aggressive, right? It's like they're both throwing things at each other. It's like, oh, you older generations, or oh, you younger generations. But at the same time, like they have much more similarities than differences, right? Are
And
we
I guess
all?
like
Yeah.
all of us have the same like I don't know how to say it, but
Dreams?
like the same vision to change the world, because at the end of the video the person who is talking say that.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's like, so it's a good point. Like millennials is not necessarily a generation, it's also a mindset. And that's also actually something that it's very important to remember, right? Because some people forget the motivation to travel, or the motivation to live the moment, live the present, like partying, like, you know, taking a moment to breathe and rest and be in contact with nature, right? So we can all learn from each other, right? We can learn from, yeah, the older generations. You know, we have to be grateful. It says here, be gracious, thankful for our parents, for, you know, our family members that are older than us and contributed to where we are today, right? Because our parents pay for our education, or maybe they helped us with some stuff, right? Maybe they had to work at an office to be able to get us where we are right now. Now we have more possibilities, right? We have much more access to working from home, from, you know, working at call centers, working, you know, in our own business. So, but it was not the same for them. They didn't have the same resources, right? What do you think about that? Any other comment, question? Are we all millennials? What do you think? What do you think about this phrase? Don't be a spectator staring at your own show.
That means that we need to take action, and is associated to the term that they say that we can be change makers.
Yes. So I mean, some millennials claim to be changing the world, but are they really doing that, or are they just being like, they're spectators, they're audience, they're just not really living their lives like they're supposed to, right? Huh? Somebody else wants to say something?
Yeah, we need we think the old millennium were spectators, or but the millennium is you know, play the own role or role.
What do you mean?
Give me a moment, teacher. sería como, como actuar su papel, o sea, hacer su,
To play their role.
yeah, play the role.
Play the role. Right, right. So are we living our lives for ourselves, or are we living it for other people or society?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys think that you're doing that? What do you think? Have you reflected on that? Like, are you doing what other people want you to do, or are you doing what you want to do? What do you think? Now, we might have to sometimes do what other people want us to do because it's beneficial, right? Like education, for example. Like, I might not want to go to school. I don't like it. But if you consider the facts, I guess it's more beneficial to do that and then do whatever you want than not having a degree and try to do whatever you want, right? It's a little bit more difficult. So I think, if you're all studying, that's great. But I mean, maybe after that time, like, do you think you're going to be doing what you want? Do you want a house? Do you want a car? You want all those things? Or are you going to focus on you? Like maybe travel more, have your own business, or your own place, and be more independent. I want to hear from people who haven't talked much. Samantha hasn't talked. I know that their daddy hasn't talked much. Fabian, you guys have to talk, because what are we even doing? At least, your opinion, which is always going to be valid. What do you guys think?
Teacher, what is rising?
Racing.
Mm-hmm.
Racing is like when you support your family, right? So your kids grow, you're raising them with good values, with education. So they're growing up. Okay.
Oh,
It's like
thanks.
criar, right? To raise a family. Yeah. So raising a family substitutes pursuit of dreams or experiences. What do you think? Is that true? We were talking about being able to do both, right? We can do both. But some people think you can't, because you can't travel and raise kids at the same time. Can you? I mean, maybe. What do you think?
I think for this you need like to have good economies, because you have to pay for you and for the kids, and you have to do a lot of things to travel with kids. And I guess that's the reason why the generation, like the younger generations, think like it's important to enjoy your younger age and then raise a family.
Right, right. And enjoy your youth, right? And yeah, and stability can come later. But you definitely need stability to be able to travel with kids. And that's why parents sometimes don't do it. Maybe they travel twice a year. It's not the same, obviously, because you have kids. It's not the same traveling by yourself and maybe meeting a tribe and getting to know other people, and you know what I mean, like party a little bit or something. You can't do those things, right? So I think it's just preventing, things. And it's I think that's what older generations sometimes don't think. It's like, oh, I can't believe they don't want to have kids anymore, right? I can't believe they don't want to invest in a house, or I can't believe they can have the same job for more than a year, right? They keep changing jobs. So there's a lot of criticizing, and I understand where both perspectives come from. So I understand older generations. It's true. People don't commit a lot anymore, right? You jump from job to job, right? Or you might jump from major to major, so you change your career all the time, right? But we don't do it because we think we're privileged. We do it because it's an important decision. So I'm not going to commit to something for the rest of my life because I want my life to be fun and entertaining and live it, right? It's the difference between living and existing, right? So I don't want to just exist and pay the bills. I want to live and maybe have like ups and downs, right? Any final
Yes,
thought?
teacher.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
But
Daniel.
the other video he said, but it's not much different between matter existing and death. And before this, he said, I it's different living and matter existing.
Merely existing. Exactly. So do we want to exist? Some people are okay with that, but some people are not okay with that, right? So I guess at the end of the day, we all want to be happy. As I said before, we all want to have new experiences, and we make choices. So depending on the choices that we make, that's the future that we're going to have probably. So yeah, having a kid, it's probably not a good idea because it might change your life a little bit, right? So what about having a dog? So some people prefer to have dogs, right? Or maybe adopt later, so that, because there's a lot more kids out there that need your help. And so yeah, so there you go. Any other comments? Anything else from these two videos? Did you learn something? Was it helpful for you, for your life, for your priorities? Was it boring? Anything you want to add?
Oh, teacher.
So good. All right. We're gonna jump into homework real quick, and today we're gonna do a little bit of translation. So I will explain the instructions after the homework. So let's see. Let me use somebody's homework. So in this one, you only had to do 1 and 4, right? 1, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you had to skip some. We will do them in maybe after the recess, okay? So let's see. I'm gonna use someone's homework as usual. Yeah, so we have this reading. We have a few words and we have to complete it with those words. So let's try to pronounce the words first, and then I would like 1, 2, 3 people to help me with the reading portion. So, but let's start reviewing the words. So the first one, where do we emphasize it? In a or Ford? The stress.
Ford.
Ford. So we say afford. Afford. Can you guys pronounce it with me? Afford.
Afford.
Afford. Do you understand the meaning of afford? To afford something. Similar to pay, right? To pay. Sometimes it's like money, but sometimes it could be like, I don't know, an action. Like, oh my God, I made a lot of mistakes at work. I can't afford another one. Like, they're gonna fire me, right? I can afford it. So afford not only money, but generally that's what it means, right? You don't have enough of something to pay for something. Okay. Then we have this word. This is actually 2 letters in pronunciation. We pronounce it air. Air. Everybody, air.
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 Okay. Next one, it's also interesting because this is b, like a sometimes it sounds like a serious I, or it could also be a schwa, b or b, leave. This is a smiley eye. So it's the two combined in one word. Believe. Can you guys say with me? Believe. Believe.
Believe.
Believe. Do you believe me? I don't know. Right? You cheated on me, so no. So believe me. Believe me. Different from belief with an F, right? So that's also important. You cannot say belief. This is a noun with an F. This is a verb with a V, right? So make sure your mouth already knows the difference. Okay, next one, colony. Colony. Can you guys pronounce it with me?
Colony.
Like a colony of ants, right? For example, or colony. Then we have dream. Dream. Dream?
Dream.
Dream. Dream. Do we say dream about or dream of? Do you
Dream
remember?
about.
Dream
Of.
about. You can say
About.
the two are correct. So you can say dream of. Oh, last night I was dreaming of zombies. I don't know. I was watching a movie and I was dreaming about that. Or I don't know. Stuff like that. I actually once was dreaming of zombies. It was kind of cool. Okay, next one. We have flights. Flights. That's easy, right? Flights. Everybody?
Flights.
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 In hotel, where do we emphasize the stress? Ho or tell?
Tell.
Tell. Tell. So we say hotel. Hotel, not hotel. I think that's maybe British. I don't know. I'm not sure. But Americans say hotel. Okay. Can you guys pronounce with me? Hotel.
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 Hotel. Then we have human. 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 Everybody?
Human.
Human. Human. Then we have risk. This is not risk. Risk doesn't exist. Is an serious I. So it's not risk. Excuse me. It's not risk. It's risk. Risk. Almost like an e, but it's not an e. It's like almost risk. Everybody? Risk.
Risk.
Risk. Okay. Then we have two O's here and they're different sounds. The first one is O, row. Can you guys say with me? Row.
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 And then we have, this is an A, robots.
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 Robots. Okay, perfect. Then we have spaceships. There's no E at the beginning. It's not S spaceships. No, it's just spaceships. Spaceships. Everybody?
Spaceships.
These has two different pronunciations. It could be species. Can you guys say it like that? Species.
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 Or species. Can you say that one as well? Species.
Species.
Uh-huh. It's very similar to the word grocery, right? You can say grocery like this, or you can say grocery. Okay. So it's like similar. Grocery. Anyway, next one, we are gonna eliminate this E and we're gonna have three syllables. Temperature. Temperature. Everybody? Temperature.
Temperature.
Temperature. Tourism. This is more like t, like a u, re. Tourism. Tourism. Everybody? Tourism.
Tourism.
Tourism. This is Wi-Fi, right? I don't. Oh no, sorry. Will. This is will, and the negative won't. Okay, so will. It's a serious I, so it's not wheel. What is wheel? If I say wheel, what is that?
Rueda.
Not rueda, right? Wheel. This is more well. Well and won't. Won't. Okay. All right. So who would like to start with the first paragraph? It's like a paragraph, right? Anybody? Any volunteers? Promise after this, we're gonna take a recess, and then jump into other activities, okay? But 3 people, please.
I want,
want to.
When you guys say your names,
Melanie.
Melanie and Isabella, you can be number 3, and I need somebody else for number 2, and somebody for number 3.
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Okay, awesome, girls. Thank you so much. Girl power. Just kidding. Go ahead, Melanie.
I start or Isabella?
Oh, I think it was you. So yeah, you can start, and then Isabella can do number 2.
Okay. Space tourism promises a new kind of adventure vacation. Visit a space station, check into a space hotel, and even do a spacewalk. When space flights become cheaper, ordinary people will be able to afford them. But how many people will want to risk their lives when there is a chance of not coming back? Still, it's early days, and spaceships will definitely become safer.
All right, excellent job. Yeah, pronunciation was great. Here, excuse me. Here it's like lives, right? You pronounce it correctly. Just want to emphasize for everybody that when we have a V, then we have automatically a Z. Say lives, lives. Everybody, lives.
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 So the plural of life is not lives, like some people say. Excuse me. So it's not like this. That word doesn't exist. Is lives. All right. Sometimes this word is pronounced lives if I'm using it as a verb, right? She lives in blah blah blah. All right. Isabella, you can continue with number 2, paragraph
Okay.
number 2.
Meanwhile, the European Space Agency has started a new project which it hopes will lead to the first human flight to Mars. Its ExoMars project will send robots to explore the red planet to search for resources and even life. But it will be a long time before there is a colony on Mars or even on the moon. And it won't be easy to live in these places. On the moon, the temperature rises to more than 100 degrees Celsius and falls to less than, how do you say that? Minus.
Minus.
Okay, minus 100 degrees Celsius. And it's not much better on Mars.
Perfect. There you go. If you were wondering about this, we would say ka, like an a. Ka, la. This is a schwa. Colony. Can you guys say it with me? Colony.
Colony.
Colony. Excellent. These, what's the difference between these and this? And Isabella did a great job with pronunciation, I have to say, but I just want other people, to realize something. What is the difference between these two?
One is plural and the other one is singular.
So that's one thing. Yeah. What about in terms of pronunciation? Do you pronounce them the same?
Teacher, the first one is pronounced this.
So it has a more like a smiley eye. We call it the long eye. So
And the other one is pronounced this.
So this is the serious one. So there's that difference. There's another difference. So the vowel, yes, perfect. What's something else? The TH is the same.
The pronunciation of the S. One is with Z and another one with sorry, Melanie. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries. Thank you guys that you're excited. So which one is with the Z and which one is with the S?
The first one that you're pointing at is with Z and another one with S.
Perfect. So when you guys are like saying that these, you say, oh, to be easy or won't be easy to live in these places. These places. So it's a little bit longer, these than this, right? But yeah, overall the pronunciation was really good. Really happy that you guys are able to participate, and not everybody should feel, I don't know, I want you guys to feel like comfortable with your English. So participate as much as you can. Some people might know more than I do. Who cares, right? You're here for you, and it's your last level. So you don't have to have perfect pronunciation, but as long as you emphasize the words correctly, you know the vowel sound, you know, your pronunciation is going to improve. So don't feel intimidated by these really great girls, right? Because they're really good as well. And we're gonna hear to who was the last person? Was it
Stephanie.
Stephanie? You wanna help me with the last paragraph?
Yes. However, believe it or not, the expert says that one day we'll definitely live on other planets. It may sound unlikely, but let's not forget that air travel once seems to be an impossible dream. And some people even believe that we will have to leave Earth from the survival of our species.
Good job, excellent. Here we say how, like the question how, and then ever. However, can you guys say it like that with me? However. However, what's the meaning of however in English? However, it's like another word for but.
Sin embargo?
Yeah, exactly. The fancy word for but. So but sounds like but, obviously. So it's like, people don't want to use that formal. So they use however, sin embargo, right? And but you can use it for like, you know, little sentences, right? Believe, well, good job, air travel, dream, and species. Good pronunciation as well. Thank you so much, girls, for helping. Then let's move to the next exercise. So that will be this page over here with vocabulary. So we have sentences with these verbs. Let's pronounce the verbs real quick. We have come, which is a schwa sound, come. Then we have count. Okay. Then here it seems like an O, but it's actually O and U. Hold. Then we have look. Almost like an O, but it's also a U. So you have to make a balance. It's not lock, because lock would be like locking the door with your keys, right? It's not lock. It's not look, because look would be my friend Luke, right? Lucas. So it's not none of those. It's like a combination of both. Is look. Look at that, right? Or look, don't talk to me like that. You're not my mom, right? For example, or whatever. Then we have the same vowel sound, put. So it's like, ooh, put. Can you guys say it with me? Put that down, right? Like put. Then we have take, right? We know this one, take. All right, cool. So can you guys say it? Take. All right. So I need another volunteer to help me complete these exercises. Maybe one person can do from 1 to 3 and the other one from 4 to 6. It's your opportunity to talk, guys. It's okay. And all you have to do is read what you see on the screen. Anyone?
Teacher, I can.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll come shopping with you. Hold on a minute while I get my wallet.
Okay, perfect. I'll come shopping with you. And then we say, hold on a minute while I get my wallet. Hold on a minute. So we emphasize on. Hold on.
Hold on.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much. Number 2.
Okay, you can look down over the city from the top of the tower.
Very good. Now we say you can look down. Now we're going to emphasize the prepositions a little bit more. So let's see. You can look down over the city. Can you say like that? Look down.
Look down over the city.
Excellent, Nicole. Thank you. And number 3.
I like to join the tour. You could put my name down.
Could you put my name down? Can you say it like that? Could you put my name down?
You could put my name down.
So here we have first the could and then the you. So we say, could you put my name down?
Could you put my name down?
Excellent job. All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. Anybody wants to continue with the next 3? Anyone? Okay, I'm gonna pick someone then.
I want a teacher.
Oh, perfect. Ariana, thank you. Go ahead.
Do you think the cost of air travel will go up or come down?
Do you think the cost of, right? And then when we ask questions, what do you? This last word, make sure you go up. So it's like, do you think the cost of air travel will go up or come down? Or like come down?
Down.
So, excellent. All right. Number 5.
We take off at 10:25, so we should get to the airport by around 8:30.
Good. We take off. Take off. Off.
Take off.
Excellent. And number 6.
The rocket is due to take off, and we're going to count down from 10 to 0.
Excellent. Good job. In countdown, we emphasize down more and count not so much. So we say, and you can even say we're gonna count down from 10 to 0.
Count down from 10 to 0.
Good job. All right, good. Guys, questions about that? Comments or questions? Okay, 3 days per week or 3 days a week?
Okay, teacher.
Are you gonna be a protector when you get older?
Maybe.
When
But
when you
only
get
for boys, not girls.
when you get married, are you gonna be a protector?
I'm not gonna be married at all.
Why?
I don't wanna be married. Are you kidding?
I thought you wanted to be a dad.
I would be scared.
Why?
Well, because I don't want to kiss anyone.
How come?
Well, if they kiss me, they sometimes do it with spit.
So you don't like spit?
No.
No. Who does it with spit?
Well, some kids do it with spit, and I don't like it. Girls like Kiana.
But I thought you wanted to be a daddy.
Yeah. Well, not marrying anyone. I'm not gonna have a mom. I already have a mom.
But what about a wife?
I don't need a wife.
But don't you want to be a daddy and have kids?
I do want to have kids. But which kids will I have?
Okay, from 1 to 10, how much did you understand? 10 being the highest.
Maybe 8.
Eight,
7.
Yeah, maybe
7
8.
and 8. What parts were not clear to you? What did you not understand?
Some words maybe, but I understand the meaning of the entire conversation, but some words
Yeah.
are difficult.